꺼지지 않는 청춘과 열정, 젊음을 대표하는 에너지 드링크 6와 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어가 함께합니다. ASL 시즌12 4강 첫 번째 경기의 프리뷰로 인사드립니다. 안녕하세요, 이현경입니다. 이 역대급 대진이 만들어졌고 또 그만큼 흥미로운 경기들이 펼쳐졌던 8강. 이 8강 대결 끝에 김명훈 선수, 변현재 선수, 유영진 선수 그리고 조일장 선수가 살아남았습니다. 이렇게 해서 ASL에서는 지난 시즌 16강 시드가 그대로 이어진 최초의 시즌이 만들어졌는데요. 자, 오늘은 4강 첫 번째 대결, 지난 시즌 4강의 리턴 매치죠. 김명훈 선수와 변현재 선수의 7전 4선승제가 펼쳐집니다. 지난 시즌에 복수를 꿈꾸고 있을 김명훈 선수 그리고 또다시 프로토스의 희망으로 거듭난 변현재 선수. 이 두 선수가 어떤 과정을 통해 이 무대까지 서게 됐는지 지금부터 살펴보겠습니다. 먼저 두 선수 모두 시드를 얻었기 때문에 24강을 건너뛰고 16강부터 경기를 시작했습니다. 모두 16강에서의 과정이 순탄치만은 않았는데요. 김명훈 선수는 송병구 선수와의 첫 경기에서 승리를 거뒀지만 이어진 승자전 경기 이재호 선수에게 0대2 패배를 당했고 장윤철 선수와의 최종전 경기에서 2대1로 진땀승을 거두며 8강에 올랐습니다. 변현재 선수는 첫 경기부터 큰 일격을 당했는데요. 자신이 선택한 상대인 배병우 선수를 맞이해서 패배를 당하며 위기를 맞았지만 패자전에서 정영재 선수를 상대로 2대0 승리, 그리고 최종전에서 다시 만난 배병우 선수에게 2대0 승리를 거두면서 두 시즌 연속 8강 진출에 성공했습니다. 자, 이어진 8강에서 김명훈 선수가 만난 상대는 서로를 너무나 잘 아는 상대, 깐부 사이라고 부를 수 있는 김민철 선수였죠. 이 두 선수 간의 구웅진 더비에서 김명훈 선수가 1대2로 위기에 몰리는 듯 했지만 이어진 4세트, 5세트를 내리 잡아내면서 4시즌 연속 4강 진출이라는 기록을 세우게 됩니다. 자, 변현재 선수는 오프라인 무대에서 본인이 유독 취약했던 테란을 다전제에서 상대하게 됐는데요. 김희정 라인의 일원으로 큰 성장세를 보이고 있던 김지성 선수와의 맞대결에서 이것이 다전제 판짝이다라고 말하는 듯 완벽한 심리전 능력을 보여주면서 3대0 완승을 거두고 다시 한번 4강 진출에 성공했습니다. 자, 이어서 양 선수가 승리하게 된다면 어떤 기록들이 이어질지 살펴보겠습니다. 먼저 김병훈 선수입니다. 결승에 진출하게 된다면 ASL에서만 세 번째 결승 진출에 성공하는 저그가 되는데요. 이는 김정훈 선수와 함께 동률이었던 2회 결승 진출에서 1회를 더 추가해 ASL에서 출전한 저그 중 최다 결승 진출 기록을 세우는 셈입니다. 또한 시즌9 김명훈 선수의 결승 진출부터 4시즌 연속으로 저그가 결승 진출을 이어나가게 되고요. 저그 최초의 ASL 3회 우승에 도전하게 되네요. 자, 이에 맞서는 변현재 선수입니다. 결승에 오르게 된다면 역시 시즌7과 시즌11에 이어 세 번째 결승 진출에 성공하게 됩니다. 이는 장윤철 선수와 함께 2회 결승 진출로 동률이었던 기록을 넘어서 ASL 내에서 최다 결승 진출에 성공한 프로토스로 이름을 남기게 됩니다. 그리고 프로토스는 지난 시즌에 이어 두 시즌 연속 결승 진출을 하는 셈인데요. 변현재 선수가 스스로 프로토스 최초 연속 결승 진출의 기록을 세우게 됩니다. 또한 오늘 경기에서 만약 4대0으로 김명훈 선수를 잡아내게 된다면 역대 ASL 결승 진출자 중에서 가장 좋은 승률인 91.7%에 기록하면서 ASL 결승에 오를 수 있는 기회를 잡게 됩니다. 자, 그렇다면 양 선수의 4강 첫 대결을 바라보는 시청자 여러분들은 어떻게 오늘 경기를 예상하고 있을까요? 방금 전까지 ASL 공식 방송국을 통해 투표를 집계해본 결과 변현재 선수가 63대 37로 26%가량 앞서는 결과가 나타났습니다. 분명 김명훈 선수가 프로토스전에서 최고의 강자임은 틀림없지만 변현재 선수가 지난 시즌에만 2번의 맞대결에서 모두 승리를 거뒀고요. 명실상부 김명훈 선수의 천적으로 불리는 점에서 이런 예측을 보내주시지 않았나 싶은데요. 팬 여러분께서는 김명훈 선수에게 지난 시즌의 복수를 희망한다라는 응원을 보내주셨고요. 변현재 선수에게는 가을의 기세를 이어달라는 응원의 댓글까지 덧붙여 주셨습니다. 자, 마지막으로 이번 시즌을 바라보고 있는 16강 진출자 선수들은 오늘 경기 어떻게 예측하고 있을지도 살펴보겠습니다. 자, ASL 시즌12 16강에 진출한 선수들을 대상으로 설문한 결과 6명의 선수 이재호, 배병우, 윤용태, 황병영, 정영재 그리고 김범수 선수가 김명훈 선수의 결승 진출을 예상했고요. 다른 6명의 김민철, 김지성, 박상현, 장윤철, 송병구 그리고 유진우 선수가 변현재 선수의 결승 진출을 예상했습니다. 김명훈 선수의 승리를 예상한 선수들의 경우 이번 시즌 김명훈 선수의 기세가 좋다라는 것이 느껴진다. 그리고 이번에는 김명훈 선수가 이길 때가 온 것 같다라는 코멘트를 남겨줬고요. 변현재 선수의 승리를 예측한 선수들은 이번에도 쉽게 예상할 수 없는 승부수를 들고 왔을 것 같다. 그리고 김명훈 선수의 천적이기 때문에 김명훈 선수가 말릴 것 같다라고 이번 4강 경기를 예측해줬습니다. 정확히 6대6으로 갈린 승부 예측만큼 오늘 경기 정말 향방을 쉽게 예측할 수 없는 치열한 다전제 승부가 기대됩니다. 자, 지난 시즌에 이어 다시 한번 결승을 향한 외나무 다리에서 만난 두 선수. 과연 김명훈 선수가 복수에 성공할 수 있을지 아니면 변현재 선수가 프로토스의 희망을 다시 한번 이어나가게 될지. 자, 5개월 만에 만난 두 선수의 대결입니다. 4강 경기 지금부터 시작합니다.
ASL 시즌12 4강 대결 11번째 시즌에 이어서 이 두 명의 선수들이 경기를 펼치게 됩니다. 둘 중에 한 명은 우승에 도전할 수 있는 기회가 주어지게 되고요. 한 명은 바로 탈락하게 됩니다. 김명훈 선수와 변현재 선수 시작 전 만나서 이야기를 나눠보는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 김명훈 선수.
안녕하세요.
ASL 커리어는 최강이죠. 연속 우승 이후에 4강에서 지난 시즌에 변현재 선수 만나서 폭삭 떨어졌어요. 그냥 떨어진 것도 아니라 그냥 무너졌습니다. 그 변현재가 다시 한번 오게 됐고 이 변현재 선수가 그런 이야기를 했어요. 김명훈 선수 만나면 땡큐 결승 또 진출 이란 상황인데 지금 경기 시작하기 전에도 변현재 선수는 김명훈 선수 보면서 하품하고 있습니다. 네, 오늘 이번 경기 어떠세요?
네. 저번 시즌에는 솔직히 제가 폭삭 무너졌다라고 인정을 하는데 이번에는 다를 것 같거든요. 네, 저도 오늘 준비 되게 많이 했기 때문에 그렇게 허무하게 지지는 않을 것 같아요.
지금 대회뿐만 아니라 온라인 상으로도 굉장히 좀 많이 박제가 됐습니다. 김명훈 선수의 그 표정이 지금 인터넷에 좀 떠들고 있는 그런 상황인데 오늘 변현재 선수 잡아내기 위해서 준비한 작전이 좀 따로 있나요? 오늘은 안 무너집니까?
아니 사실 제가 온라인에서도 그렇게 막 많이 밀리진 않거든요. 예, 근데 한두 번 진 거 가지고 그렇게 돼가지고 좀 억울하게 된 것 같은데 오늘은 제가 공식 방송에서 변현재 선수 그 정기 의자를 박제하도록 하겠습니다.
네. 와, 변현재 선수. 네. 아니 표정이 너무 좋아요 변현재가. 아니 김명훈만 만났을 뿐인데 지금 계속 웃고 있습니다. 웃음이 지금 절로나는 그런 상황인가요?
근데 솔직히 그 정도는 아니에요. 근데 제가
아니에요?
8강에서는 명훈이 형을 꼭 만나고 싶어 했거든요. 그냥 불과 한 달 전만 해도 굉장히 못한다라고 생각을 했었거든요.
네.
근데 최근 들어서 갑자기 좀 잘해지더라고요.
오.
그래가지고 8강에서 미리 만났으면 더 좋았을 거리라는 생각을 들고 있어요.
네. 그래서 이제 그런 부분에 있어서 조금 좀 부담이 되는데 지난 시즌에는 좀 압도하는 모습 보여줬잖아요. 지금의 김명훈 선수는 폼이 많이 올라갔습니까? 조금 무서운 존재로 성장했어요?
근데 솔직히 폼은 이제 저번 시즌이 더 좋았잖아요, 김명훈
아!
선수가. 지금은 이제 최근에 다시 이제 기세가 오르는 모습이라서
네.
저번 시즌만큼은 이제 기세가 없기 때문에
네.
좀 더 좋지 않나 싶어요.
아니 지난 시즌에 기세가 훨씬 더 좋았는데 이번 시즌 기세가 낮다? 지난 시즌에 압승을 거뒀잖아요. 그 이야기는 오늘 김명훈이 무너진다는 얘긴데요?
근데 저도 전데 변현재 선수도 똑같이 낮아졌고
네.
저보다 더 낮아졌다 생각을 하거든요.
와.
그 저번 시즌 저랑 했을 때 4강 경기가 마지막 전성기 아니었나
네.
싶을 정도로 폭삭 무너졌는데 그래서 저는 자신 있어요 이제는.
이 강한 자신감을 좀 여기서 피력하고 있는 상황인데 그럼 이번에 자 올라온 그 저그들 중에서 가장 강력한 저그가 김명훈이라고 생각하세요?
솔직히 말해서 그거는 아니라고 생각을 해요.
아니 그럼 누구?
지금은 이제 원래 김민철 선수가 제일 무섭다고
네,
생각했는데
김민철이고
그 다음은 지금 조일장 선수.
조일장이고 그 다음은
아마도 명훈이 형은 밑에 있지 않나.
오, 예. 그렇다는 얘기는 이 저그계에서 커리어는 굉장히 좋은데 실력적인 부분에서는 3대장 빛 좋은.
아니
예.
명훈이 형을 평가하기에
네.
저는 그 누구보다 잘한다고 생각해요. 항상 이제 볼 때마다 감탄을 했었거든요.
네.
저는 이제 빌드가 지더라도 이기더라고요.
네.
테란전도 이제 어느 정도 잘해 보이는 것 같아요. 근데 토스는 아직
네.
제가 생각할 때는 날카로움이 아직 없는 것 같아요.
아, 그래요?
네, 다른 적에 비해서
네.
날카로움이 좀 부족하지 않나 싶어요.
예.
생각은.
검이 아닌 약간 좀 둔탁한 그런 느낌.
네.
그렇다는 얘기는 김명훈 선수는 저그 대 원툴이다.
아니 뭐 그렇게 생각할 수도 있는데 예, 뭐 오늘부로 제가 그 생각을 바꿔줄 생각이고요.
네.
왜 이렇게 자신감이 넘치는지 모르겠고 예, 변현재 선수가 또 저런 식으로 자만을 하면 되게 못하더라고요.
네.
예, 그래서 긍정적으로 생각하려고요.
자, 그러면요. 오늘 시작하기 전에 변현재 선수에게 한 말씀 해주시죠.
예, 뭐 어차피 변현재 선수는 저 아니면은 항상 다 지던데 그냥 여기서 조용히 저한테 떨어졌으면 좋겠습니다.
네, 조용히 떨어지자. 자, 그렇다면 변현재 선수도 김명훈 선수에게 한 말씀.
일단은 제가 결승을 가기 위한 좋은 발판이라고 생각을
네.
하고 이제 8강에서도 이제 잘하는 선수를 좀 무찔렀기 때문에 이제 4강은 이제 명훈이 형을 제가 잡고
네,
결승까지 올라갈 수 있게.
알겠습니다. 발판이다. 밟고 올라갈 발판이라는 이야기 남겼습니다. 과연 이번 대결에서 승자가 누가 될지, 결승에 올라갈 선수가 누가 될지 온라인에 계신 여러분의 뜨거운 박수로 이번 4강전 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
피해가면서 싸우겠다라고 선택된 전장인데요.
이 병력 녹아요.
바다 그 사실 그 자체.
선이 다르거든요.
커세원이 6개입니다. 다 찢어요.
가스 없이 지금은 해야 된다는 이야기예요.
지금 사람이 나왔고
예.
막아요. 최후의 프로토스 변현재가 김명훈을 꺾고 결승 진출. 절대권자 변현재 선수가 강력한 A조를 만들었어요.
마이 질럿이
삼각 캐논 편대 만들어 놓고 프로입니다.
짱이 올다크입니다. 올다크 시제 이번 시즌 4강에 올라간 유일한 프로토스 변현재 선수입니다. 16강 죽음의 족 그룹 C조의 대결이
기회 다 하고 오거든요.
이미 노리고 있었어요.
8강 첫 번째 대결.
한 팀에서 오랫동안 활동을 했었고
와, 스폰이 없어졌어요.
스폰이 다 잡아먹었고
김명훈 정말 오랜만에 ASL 4강에 뒤로 김명훈 다시 한번 강력한 우승 후보. 3대 우승이 따내고 이번 시즌 4강의 주인공이 됩니다. 김명훈.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to day one in the round of 4 here. Queen versus Mini. It's all going to start right here, right now. I am so excited. I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, as well here. I'm hoping that Mini can move on and get to the finals as the only Protoss left. The only Protoss to really get to the second half of this entire tournament. It would be cool to see if he could make it to the next step. How about you, Artie?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he definitely can. He's going up against Queen in this round of 4. Once again, second season in a row. It's crazy how consistent these players are. I know you were making fun of me for it at the end of the last show, but really, it's like literally the same match in the round of 4, and then another guy on the other side, same from round of 4 last time. It's like, oh my God, I can't even believe it. But that gives us, you know, a big thing to look at and say, okay, this is what we can expect. This is what happened last time. We're building these stories that are just crazy. Like Mini with that gigantic kill on Queen last season, 4-1. Is Queen
Crazy.
prepared now?
Guys, before we start our matches today, Quick thank you to everybody on Patreon who's been supporting us. Patreon.com/ASL English. Those who support us and our StarCraft endeavors on Patreon now get access to the secret Tastosis podcast. We just did another recording for that before we, started working on this part of the tournament. So do check that out.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, I mean, this round of 4 match, I think it's really hard to even ask for a better Protoss versus Zerg match. These guys are both at the absolute tip-top of the race, as you can see here with the round of 4 matches that we have for you this season. Queen versus Mini, and then Hero against Rush. I'm still in shock, right? Because, getting top 4 gives you a seed into the round of 16. The round of 16 is really hard. Then you go into the round of 8 if you make it there, and that's really hard. But we have 3 of the same 4, plus the guy who won Larva's wildcard match. It's like, if you're writing a fiction story about ASL, you don't make it like this because it doesn't seem real.
Yeah. No, it's pretty crazy to compare the last season now to this season here. And this is going to be a pretty long and dramatic night, if I had to guess. Mini, he's really been very much so on the cutting edge of Protoss, especially when it comes to just being able to skip tech, to kind of have these surprising maneuvers in the mid-game. I think Queen is a pretty fearsome opponent, but he did seem to be thrown off by Mini in the past, so I also want to see how Queen has reinvented or reinforced his play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we see this lineup of maps here: Eclipse, Largo, Revolver, Polypoid to open up. I kind of like that. I'm really interested to see how Mini is going to end up playing Revolver, right? Because it is so strange with that double egg wall type of thing.
Yeah, I should say that you can, in fact, wall in on that map. I didn't realize you could. Egg walls are very weird in Brood War with what they do let through or do not let stuff through there. But definitely seeing what Mini's going to try to do on a map like that is going to be certainly one that is going to feed into every other StarCraft player, every other Protoss player for their understanding of the map and the matchup.
Mm-hmm. Now, we saw that Queen has a really great win rate in this matchup. Of course, the only time he's lost in one of these big best of series was against Mini last season. And yeah, you can see it's like this is the only guy that really stands in Queen's way. When you think about it, Queen would be approaching Flash levels of ASL domination if it weren't for Mini.
Yeah, that is very true. And it's kind of a funny thing to see how Mini's approached the game. I know we've talked about this a little bit off camera, but there's something about Mini that is almost Flash-esque in that he seems to be able to do stuff and make things look easy that nobody else is able to do, and it's in part because he seems to have a certain handle on the matchup and the race that other people just don't have.
And you can kind of see this reflected, when we look at this win rate here, the fact that he has played 56 games against Zerg, which is much more than both the other matchups put together. That's kind of the big story, right? We see other Protosses not doing that well in ASL, and a big part of it is that the Zergs are pretty dominant, right? You take Flash out of the equation, and Zergs do the best in ASL, so you have to beat a lot of them, and Mini is the guy that can do that.
And Mini is a player that, we haven't seen strength quite like this with Protoss since Reign, I would say, in the KSL days. There really hasn't been anybody that has been just so comfortably able to navigate through a bracket. We have had the era of Snow and the moment he did beat Flash in a best of 5. But I think really Mini is kind of the full Protoss force here. And I think especially in the matchup PvZ.
Yeah, definitely you're right about that. In fact, I think his PvZ is better than Reigns ever was, even though Reign is one of the best Protosses we've ever had in Brood War. Now, just kind of taking a look, these are just showing the matches that he's played recently. As you can see, Larva giving him a bit of a hard time last season. That was a close match, though, as well. But do you think maybe we can see Queen learn from what Larva did against Mini to be able to take him down?
I think it's possible, but I do think Larva and Queen are extremely different Zergs. They almost couldn't be more opposite, Larva's very brainy. He likes to have alternative techs. Queen, I think, is much more straightforward. aggressive, likes to power up. But, you know, I think Larva was really able to out-strategize Mini, where I think Mini was able to out-strategize Queen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
You got to keep in mind, Mini definitely leveled up from that loss from Larva, is one way to think about it. So it's going to be interesting to see what Mini's done to adjust here.
Yeah, kind of a funny graph we're showing, by the way. It's like Queen pops in the round of 16, Season 1, goes to the military, pops back, wins 2 ASLs, and gets a 4th place. It's like, oh my god, what a monster.
I do also want to point out that Mini is one of the best, if not the best, one-base PvZers. And I think we're going to... I think, and I might be totally wrong here, but it is possible we may end up ushering in this whole new era of kind of weird one-base PvZs.
Really? That would be crazy.
I think it's possible, man. 2-gate or 1-gate. I think people are really getting good at this stuff, and it really changes the whole way the matchup looks and the tempo and everything else like that. Now, I said this last time, and instead it became these kind of crazy games where Mini just, like, gets a core and then, like, makes a forge later and doesn't make a cannon, and it was, like, a very different matchup. But I still want to put that out there. From the games we've seen of Mini in the past couple of years of casting him, he does seem to be one of these guys that'll just bust out a kind of weird build here or there, you know? And it's going to be interesting to see how that works against Queen. I do feel like Queen would be extremely strong against something like that if that's the kind of game we're going to have.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, let's see here.
Well, the stage is set. Queen going up against Mini. Obviously, Queen looking to extend his championship line here. He is so successful so far in ASL. Oh my god, we have even more charts for you guys.
You know what?
Even more.
I was basically ready to
crazy.
shift gears into going into the actual game. I'm like, no, not yet, not yet.
Yeah, this is just who he has played so far in Season 12. You can see it's actually been pretty tight for him. 6-5 to get here. That's like kind of a funny side story when you look at people as they get far through a tournament. It's like, did you squeak through to here, or did you dominate on the way to here? Because we've had tournaments where people are like on a barely winning record in the finals, and then we've had ones where they get to the finals without losing a game. Yeah, right. And those are insane. Like you look at generally when Flash is in the finals, he hasn't lost a game. You remember that season Nestea? He like won, didn't he win GSL once without dropping a map or dropping exactly one map in the finals or something like that?
I think that's correct. I think that's when he beat Inca, and like Inca won one game with a DT or something like that, and then just
But those types of dominations, like, well, damn, you really are the best, aren't you? Looking pretty crazy. Whereas the Season 12 match list here for Mini, much better looking, isn't it? He has just killed everybody. He only lost that one game against 8-15 so far.
Yeah, this is going to be...
And that was the funny Ling bust, right? That was the 9-hat 9
I
pool.
almost
Remember
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out, what was that game? That's right. That was just that Ling bust from 8-15.
Yeah. How many times do you think Queen watched that VOD?
Taking notes, no doubt, man. So we're going to start this off on Eclipse, and then Largo, Revolver, Polypoid, Ascension, Good Night, and Lemon. Oh, man, if we get to Lemon for the last game, it's going to be sick, man. And our game is now ready. The winner of Queen versus Mini will move on to the finals of Season 12 of the ASL.
And so here we go. In the top right of Eclipse, we have Queen. And in the bottom left, it is Mini. Very excited to see the builds Mini has planned. Honestly, I don't really care about the builds that Queen has planned. I don't really, you know, like he optimizes well. He comes up with strategies well, but it really feels like PvZ with Mini involved is so much more about what he's going to do than anyone else, you know?
Well, let's keep in mind that I think Queen was much less aggressive than other Zergs are in large PvZ series when these guys faced off, and it was Mini really cutting corners. So let's say that Mini fast expands. I mean, I think he holds a Hydra Bust, but I don't think it's a bad idea to try that. Oh, he's not going to fast expand anyways. Okay.
Oh,
here we go.
Mr. Talking about one base builds, tasteless.
To be honest, I didn't think Eclipse would be the map we'd see it on.
Right? It's a two-player map. It's not like you can pull the wool over their eyes. If they want to scout you, they will scout you. That is the funny thing about a two-player map, I guess. Okay, so a gateway goes down, but the way he snuck the probe around,
he could go.
He's playing against a pool first, though. He's going, but it's a pool first.
You're right.
So
you're right.
Who cares?
So if this was a hatchery first, he would probably go gateway and then make a forge and then put pylons back here and just cannon rush. But it's not going to be hatch first, and I think this is a wise decision here from Queen. And instead, it's going to be 10 and 11 gates, so not 10-12.
It seems that he was thinking about maybe cannon rushing there with the Zealot, like you were mentioning. That feels like a reactive gate. Like he scouted, saw, and he's like, all right, second gate, let's go. There's going to be Zerglings coming, obviously, with the early pool.
Yeah, so he's going to see that these Lings are going to be coming. It looks like there should be 6 being made here. And so Queen basically going for a control game here to start things off. Keep in mind, almost certainly in Queen's mind, he is anticipating a fast expand. The Overlord hasn't come down here yet. And so it's quite a recalibration on the Zerg's end to have to realize, okay, we need to completely shift gears here. Oh my gosh, and he's going to send one Zealot around. Does this get spotted?
No, it does not.
What do you know?
Dude, nothing will ever get spotted for Mini, man. Like, the way he practices this game is a lot of it is in single player, just hitting timing, so he knows exactly when the Overlord will be able to see that and when it will not. Amazing from Mini to sneak that around like that. Okay. Look at this. He has the two Zealots coming out in time.
That's why he went 10-11. I was wondering about this because everybody goes 10-12. He does 10-11 so that he can get the Zealots to block the entrance while having the probe and the Zealot go around. Dude, I am inspired. I'm watching a PVZ, and I generally don't really like Protoss players that much. I am inspired as hell by the sharp timings of this. This is so mapped out from Mini. This is such a technical rush, and now he's coming in here. He's hitting these drones. He can attack the Zerglings as well. There's a sunk being forced, and now there's going to be 4 more Zealots headed northbound up to this spot adjacent to 12 o'clock.
Oh, dude, there's no way that base is going to live, right? Like, look at this. He's having to fight tooth and nail against one Zealot in his main, 4 going to his third base hatchery. This is not looking good right now for Queen.
Dude, the setup is insane. He's going to be able to block the ramp if he wants. He's going to have 2 Zealots that are going to continue to deal damage over here. Mini's control is just stellar. He's got 2 more Zealots outbound now. And
now,
I guess
what
he doesn't block
do
the
here
ramp.
as Queen? Yeah, like, are you supposed to block this ramp? Queen has to save that hatchery, right?
Oh, he has to. No. I mean, you can't afford to lose the hatchery. Keep in mind, as Protoss is doing this, they're making probes the whole time. And he's basically generating threats everywhere. So he's going to see the 2 Zealots here. These will probably run behind the minerals. But this hatchery is not going to be saved. And, I mean, Mini already fireworks right out the gate, dude.
This is amazing to see. Like, look at the amount of Zerglings
dude, he
out there right now.
Too.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. It's so nasty.
It is so nasty, Tasteless. He has more Zealots coming, too. He has 6 going towards the main wall. These 2 hold that ramp. I can't even believe what I'm seeing here.
In a
Queen
rush
has no economy.
This is like the most advanced game from 1998 I have ever seen. Like, this is like, right now, it's like it's Pillars or it's XDS GUR, like in the Zealot Rush. This is the first StarLeague ever. This is what games used to look like. But Mini's done it with such technical expertise.
Dude, and he's playing against Tsunami, the one-base Zerg. He's going to defy the rush next. You watch. This is crazy. This is 1998.
It's insane. And look, now he's wedged behind
God.
And he can just take down the spawning pool. Dude, I don't even know what to say.
I don't even know what I'm seeing here. Like, he has made walls around the Sim City of Queen. Like, did he know that he was going to...
No,
like,
I don't think so.
Oh, he might save the... Oh, I think he's going to save the pool, but now his drones die because he saved the pool. What a fool he was to save that spawning pool.
I can't believe this, man. I can't believe...
Is Mini the greatest gamer?
He might be the gamer god.
I can't even believe this. Now, look at this. These Zealots can come up and kill the pool now because the circles are all behind. No, the drones are drilling in. Oh, this is some great drone drilling. He is going to save that spawning pool.
Okay, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Oh, my God. And he just goes straight into Robo. Oh, my God.
Oh, Tasteless. You got to steal this build, all right? This is craziness. This is going to be all over the ladder.
This is wild, man. I mean, I am just like shocked. He does get the Overlord, by the way. And this parlays perfectly into a Shuttle Reaver push. I mean, he's got the slow Zealots, the Reavers coming along. He actually cut more probes than I thought. I thought that there was going to be more probe production, but I guess... yeah, that's really not that many workers at all, is it? He's not even actually making workers right now.
No. You know, I don't think he's planning on making an Nexus ever, so I guess you only need... You know, you get really diminishing returns eventually.
Right.
It's, like, really important during these pressures to continue making probes if you're, like, expanding and playing a macro game. But in a situation like this, you don't really actually need that many probes to fund this.
All right, he's going to grab this shuttle in a second here. And I actually just literally don't think there's anything Queen can do. I think Queen is just going to die. He's going to have the 2 Dragoons and the Zealots pushing here. You know, Mass Lings could maybe beat this, but 1 Reaver, I think it's physically impossible to recover. And look at this. Even drops it right there in the front. The Lings are going to try to run up the ramp, but of course Mini had plans for that as well.
Yeah, you left enough units home that it's like, oh, not a problem. He does mess up his wall a little bit, so finally Mini does make a small mistake this game, and Lings get in, so that is a bit painful. A ton of Lings being made by Queen back at home. He's making a Sunken as well. Obviously, his natural hatchery can't be saved, but maybe with Lings running around in the main base, plus trying to hold his main, maybe there's still a comeback doable.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, not a lot of probes. I think that's less than 12 that he has overall here. But again, if this rush gets in here, you don't even need that many minerals really to try to win to make the scarabs that you need for to win a fight like this. So this will be GG. Queen did get in there and do some damage of his own, but my God, Mini with the most masterful Zealot rush in a PvZ that I think I've ever seen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
everything about that build order, Tasteless, like the timing of the Zealot walking out. The timing of that second gateway that you were confused about, it was like the Zealot literally walked out of the gateway and got to the ramp right as the Zerglings were coming up. You could not have timed this out. But literally, you couldn't have because he's the best Protoss in the world. But, like, machines couldn't do it.
Dude, it was...
Machines, Tasteless. Calculators. Calculators
My
couldn't
God,
have done
you're right,
better than
Artosis.
Mini did.
He's so true. Machines couldn't do it. Okay, man. I mean, I'll tell you, man, you could go back to, like, really old StarCraft games, and they looked like that, but nowhere near as impressive. But that was, like, how cavemen used to play. But the way he set that up and then trapped the Lings in the third base, I mean, it was crazy. Mini came so prepared that he just dominated Queen in probably one of the most frustrating losses in Queen's career.
I would say so. That was a wild one, and Queen might be losing some of his confidence going into this series. Like, he lost 4-1 last season, and Mini coming out with something like that, you literally, how do you prepare for that? You cannot, because Mini just invented it. And when you're playing against the world's best player of a race, and they're inventing things that counter normal stuff, that is the most difficult thing that there could be.
And, you know, let's keep in mind, it was also kind of playing off of the ideas from the previous game he played on Eclipse where he went all the way around and cannon rushed behind the mineral line, right? So you're thinking, oh, well, that's going to be an issue. I better go pool first for that. But, you know, hiding the Zealot and getting that behind there also sets up beautifully to punish Queen. And we're still learning about this game, man. Guys, quick break. When we come back, Game 2, we'll see you guys in a second.
변현재 선수와 함께하는 고민 상담소. 와! 요즘 진짜 진짜 하고 있는 고민은 뭐야?
그 운동을 해야 되는데 지금까지 살면서 운동을 제대로 해본 적이 없어가지고 이제
너 핸드폰 그 건강 어플 보면 하루에 몇 걸음 걸어?
그런 어플이 없어요. 근데 이거 다들 하는 줄 저 몰랐어요. 저 처음 들었어요 이거.
어플 있는지도 몰랐지?
네, 어플 있는 줄도 몰라가지고.
그럼 하루에 어느 정도 걷는 것 같아? 몇 분 정도 걷는 것 같아?
따지고 보면 1분도 안 걷고 집에서 그냥 방에서 이제 잠자러 가는 그거를 한 두세 번 하는 거 끝이니까.
그냥
1분
집에서 뭐 화장실, 부엌, 침실 요렇게만 왔다 갔다 하는구나.
그쵸. 그러고 나서 밖에 나간 적은 없어요.
근데 왜 갑자기 운동의 필요성을 느껴? 건강이 좀 안 좋아짐을 느껴?
아니 여자친구가 하지.
여자친구랑 같이 할 수 있는 운동을 좀 고민하고 있겠네?
그쵸. 여자친구가 어릴 때 이제 발레 같은 거 했나? 아무튼 그래가지고
발레를
제가 그러니까 그래서 이제 여자친구도 어느 순간 이제 운동을 해야겠다고 생각을 해가지고 이제 같이 하자 해서 운동을 찾고 있는 거죠. 그러니까 원래는 수영을 하고 싶거든요. 이제 아침에 좀 방송을 하고 수영을 한 다음에 이제 씻고 개운하게 자고 싶은데 집 주변에 마땅한 수영장이 없더라고요. 그것 때문에 수영은 못 하겠고 찾아본 게 딱 두 개, 헬스랑 복싱.
오, 복싱. 왜? 복싱은 왜?
혹시 이제 위험한 상황이 나올 수도 있고 듬직하게
아니
이제
집에만 있으면서 위험한 상황이 있을게
복싱.
뭐가 있어? 너 집에만 있잖아.
지금 제가 지금 ASL 대회하고 집 가다가 큰일 날 수도 있잖아요.
그럴 수 있지,
네.
그럴 수 있지. 약간 호신용으로
그렇죠.
뭔가.
그래도 이제 기본적인 좀 싸울 수 있는
오.
그 상태는 만들고 싶어가지고 복싱을 생각하고 있어요.
좀 약간 강해지고 싶은.
네.
근데 처음 운동하는 사람한테 복싱이 너무 좀 강도가 높지 않을까? 줄넘기 1000개씩 해야 되고 뭐 이럴 텐데.
막상 하면 잘할 거예요.
무슨 자신감이야.
막상 하면 잘할
운동
거예요.
안 해보셨다면서요.
그런 줄넘기는 평균적인 신체 능력만 있으면 기본적으로 할 수 있는 거잖아요. 그 정도는 된다고 생각해요 저는.
만약에 결승 가면 우리 그런 콘텐츠를 한번 해보자. 변현재의 기초 체력 테스트. 플랭크 몇 분 하나. 그리고 뭐 기본적인 건 할 수 있다고. 누나 봐.
네?
누나 어때? 줄넘기 한 번에 몇 개, 플랭크 몇 분 이런 거 어때? 야, 결승 가면 하는 걸로 약속할까?
아니요? 아니
왜?
진짜 시킬 것 같아서요. 시작만 하면 할 수 있단
아직-
마인드예요.
현재가 못 해본 거잖아. ASL 우승. 어떻게 보면은 현재 가장 큰 고민은 그거 아니야 이제? 우승을 딱 해보자.
우승을 하면 우승을 더 할 수도 있을 것 같고 약간 그런 생각이 있는데
딱 4강 대진이 결정된과 딱 동시에 느낌.
솔직히 이번 시즌 매분 자신 없었거든요. 근데 운이 너무 좋아요. 그래가지고 모르겠어요. 솔직히 저번 시즌에 이렇게 운이 좋았더라면 저번 시즌 우승하지 않았을까 싶은데
현재가 좀 여러 징크스가 있는 것 같은데 그 사람들이 잘 아는 징크스가 홈톱이잖아. 관리를 어떻게 해? 막 너무 길면 막 부러지고 이러지 않아?
부러질 때 항상 그날부터 며칠 동안 쉬어요.
손을 쓰면 안 되겠네. 이거 진짜 중요하네. 복싱은 못하겠다 그러면.
그것 때문에 고민이에요. 그러니까
헬스 해야겠네.
코로나 때문에 헬스에 샤워가 안 된다고 하더라고요. 저는 이제 운동을 하고 거기서 이제 씻고 이제 집에 와서 개운하게 자고 싶을 때 근데
집에서 씻으면 되잖아.
근데 그 찝찝함으로 와서 이제 집에서 씻고 그 자려고 하는 생각이 안 좋을 것 같고
그러니까 안 하겠다는 얘기 아니야 둘 다. 둘 다 안 할 루트만 계속 생각하고 있는 것 같은데.
그래서 원래 수영을 하고 싶었는데 수영이 없더라고요.
아니 좀 멀리 가서라도 수영하면 돼.
그 마땅한 시간대도 없더라고요.
운동할 마음은 있는데 여건이 안 따라주네.
그렇죠.
모든
어쩔 수
운동이. 또 다른 고민 없어?
살이 너무 찌고
명훈이랑 같은 고민인데 이거?
저는 안 먹어도 이제 배가 부르거든요. 항상 그냥 배가 고프다는 생각을 잘 안 해요. 여자친구가 계속 밥을 먹재요. 어쩔 수 없이 먹어요. 배부르게 먹은 다음에 이제 한참 동안 안 먹거든요. 여자친구는 조금 먹고 다시 밥을 먹자예요.
조금씩 자주 먹는 스타일이시구나.
그래가지고 그것 때문에 제가 살이 계속 찌고 있어요. 근데 군대 가기 직전이 53kg였는데 훈련소 그 한 달 동안 7kg를 쪄서 나왔거든요. 한참 동안 있다가 이제 여자친구를 만나고 이제 60kg에서 지금 한 73kg?
살을 막 꼭 빼고 싶다 이건 아니지 않아?
한 3년 전부터 비염이 좀 너무 심해졌는데 병원을 가도 비염이 왜 심해졌냐고 물어보더라고요. 몰라서 이제 찾아간 건데 물어보길래 3년 전이랑 지금이랑 다른 게 뭐냐고 해가지고 아무리 생각해도 살찌고 빼고는 없어가지고.
그럼 만약에 이번 시즌 현재가 뭐 진짜 지금 딱 하고 나면은 달라질 것들이 많겠다, 그치?
몸도 좋아지고 살도 빼고 다 될 것 같아.
명훈이한테 한마디 해줘. 명훈이 얼굴을 이렇게 그려봐. 그 약간 상대를 야구르는 듯한 그 명훈이 얼굴을.
그러니까 얼굴 생각하면 얄미워서 봐달라는 얘기도 못 하겠어요. 우승 2번 했으니까 다음 시즌 우승했으면 좋겠어요.
둘이 만났을 때 항상 명경기들이 많이 나왔으니까 재밌을 것 같아요. 파이팅!
Welcome back, everybody. We're getting ready now for Game 2 of the night. An extremely unexpected and frankly crazy tactical strategy. And I don't normally say tactical strategy because those are different things, a tactic and a strategy, but really, it really was like a combination of both. How he managed to navigate the Zealots to where he needed them to be, how he set up forcing the second base to be where the third is, and taking advantage of the fact that there's that very tiny ramp, and so you can control the flow of Zerglings with Zealots there. I don't know what else to expect, Tastosis, but I'm excited for these next games coming.
Well, it was probably the most well-planned game that I've ever seen in over 20 years of professional StarCraft.
Yeah.
It truly, my hat is off to Mini. That was unbelievable. But before we go further, thank you guys so much for supporting us on the Patreon. Patreon.com/ASL English. This season has been completely out of control, and we still have more coming, right? We still have the other round of 4 match, the rest of today, obviously, the third, fourth place match, and the finals. So thank you so much for that, guys. After this season, we are going to be looking into hopefully getting the ASTL, the Africa StarLeague Team League. So, yeah, thank you so much for supporting.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, what Queen is thinking in a moment like this. I mean, that has got to be one of the most frustrating, most ridiculous losses ever. The entire time, Queen was completely getting caught off guard. And to close it out with that Reaver was just beautifully done by Mini. But Mini is showing that he's not really going to let Queen play the kind of game that Queen wants to play.
No, far from it. In fact, all planning Queen has done, he has to kind of question now, which is brutal in a series like this, right? You practice for this for like a week, and then your opponent does something that just completely slaughters you. You could not have been prepared for it. And, I mean, where do you go from there? Right? Like, he might have stuff like that. I mean, obviously, Eclipse is a 2-player map, so you can plan it better than other maps, but, like, he might have just paradigm-shifting strategies like that for the rest of the night.
We're going to Largo for map 2. I think Largo, I mean, there's cannon rushes are possible on this map. But, Mini, expect anything, man, because this guy has got a handle on Zerg from the Zerg's perspective and his EVP like no Protoss I have ever seen.
All right, here we go. Largo, map number 2. See if Queen can start to bring it back. So in the top left, 2-time ASL champion, it's Queen. And the bottom right, the guy who stopped him from 3 championships, it's Mini.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's been a really challenging year for Queen. I mean, who is basically ready to step into the limelight here with, Flash not being in ASL right now. But these 2 seasons have proven to be very daunting for him. I mean, people have really all been leveling up across the board.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's still... Really, when you look at it, it's Mini that's been standing his way. It may occur again. And, I mean, obviously we don't know what would happen if he had made it to the finals last time, but it's... this might end up being like this crazy rivalry or something very one-sided, which we've seen both, obviously, a lot of times in StarCraft before, where, occasionally there would be a player where it's like, this guy would be the best if it weren't for this guy, Like, for instance, Flash and Jaedong, I mean, they kind of played off each other and stuff, but imagine if Flash hadn't existed. Jaedong would have just, been a super Bonejoy, Only Flash could really take him down.
By the way, interesting to see the scouting behavior. Pylon scout to check for the Overlord, and then a gateway thrown down there, and then sends the probe back. So this is actually a little bit different from a lot of the other openings we've seen. The ideas are the same as far as getting the gateway out, but it's kind of cool to see Mini's special touch added to this.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if Queen was bottom left and the Overlord was going in the other direction, that could catch him off guard. But, you know, you have to play some percentages in StarCraft, right? Like, you have to think, okay, realistically, I've done a very good job scouting so far. Here we go. He's going to find that he's cross-map here in just a moment.
Also,
how
if the
does
Overlord
cross-map really affect the gateway openers, by the way, Tastosis?
Well, I mean, you're pretty safe. You know, I don't think that you're going to see the Zealots come across the map and try to attack, but, you know, I never want to count anything out with Mini here. Sure. It usually lets the Protoss basically set up for a pretty quick expand game here. It looks like he's already banked up enough minerals to throw this Nexus down.
Yeah, it looks like that 15. No Zealot out as of yet. Did he cancel the Zealot to make that quickly?
I think he did. I was thinking the exact same question that you just asked, and I was kind of... So that's kind of an interesting approach here, is when he sees that there's nothing there, he just axes the Zealot. And look at this, gas immediately. Okay, so this is kind of cool. He maybe will go Forge very quickly here at the natural as well. And again, Mini seems to be able to get away with stuff in just such a way that it kind of boggles the mind.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, how much can you skip here? And it's funny because part of the reason why he can skip so much is because he's playing against someone like Queen that Queen's not going to do anything that destroys his own economy and takes a complete risk, right? Like, whereas I feel like a build like this, you look at this, would this work at like B rank? I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like there would already be lanes down there and maybe you'd be in trouble for this. Who knows?
Yeah, well, he's also just taking advantage of the fact that Queen wants to play a thorough game where he clears out that probe. And so, I mean, the Forge is made in the main. I think there's a cybernetics core actually here at the entrance. I can't quite tell. Yeah, there is. And, I mean, this is kind of wild. Mini is doing, once again, that tech boosting strategy where, he's cut so many corners, the Nexus was thrown down a little bit more quickly than we would normally expect. Totally taking advantage of the cross spawns. Now, normally when we see a game like this, you see the cross spawns, and yeah, Protoss expand quickly, but this is even quicker than we normally see.
Yeah, and by the way, the +1 was like well in advance of the Stargate.
I believe so.
Does that line up like for a certain special timing or something?
I almost wonder if it's more so that he can just get the armor very quickly after that, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, because it's kind of hard. How do I say this? There's not a huge incentive to get the course out really fast, You just need it to get there in time to confirm the tech. But yeah, if I had to guess, I think that's what's going on here.
Okay. He does throw down the Citadel very, very quickly here as well. Haven't seen any other gates added yet. Of course, he's got to get that Corsair out kind of first. But yeah, I'm kind of interested in just how quickly he's upgrading that +1. Because it feels like he's gone into it very quickly. He does have that second gas up now as well.
Mini's also taken builds like this and come out with pretty unusual timings where it seems like players like Queen aren't quite ready. We've also seen him occasionally lean into Dark Templars, which we should point out here in case there are any kind of surprise plays with that. But on Queen's side of things, he's gone for 3 hatchery into Spire here, which is about as standard of a style as you can have. He's throwing down additional macro hatcheries and busy trying to win the race on his side of things as well.
And by the way, his Overlord did kind of dodge to the bottom left, so the Corsair did not find that. It is flying up and getting a lot of intel right now. Sweeping around, looking possibly for another base or Overlords out in the map. And now the Zealots start to come out.
And, I mean, the Corsair, I'm actually kind of surprised he's even hitting this. You want to be very careful because the Scourge can just come out there and kill off your Corsair if you're not ready. You do want to have a certain number of Corsairs built up over time to really have the ability to fight, but I guess he knows his timings extremely well. He kills that Overlord. He's going to pull away with his 2 Corsairs. And now these Zealots with +1 and soon to have speed are going to be moving out on the map. Now they're going to be up against these this set of Mutalisks. So I'm not totally sure how much damage these can do, but it is a kind of handy scout here for Mini to send this out and basically get confirmation, because once the Scourge are out, your Corsairs can't scout anymore. So you need these Zealots to come in here once more and poke in and get an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, it seems like they do get to see the mutas well ahead of time, but not really going to be able to get any damage done. They slow those just slightly while he warps the cannons in defensively. And he is building up that Corsair count now.
Did you see a Templar Archives? I never saw
I
one.
didn't. No, I don't think he has one yet.
Interesting. Okay. And he's just massing up Corsairs and Zealots. Kind of a cool build here for Mini. He has a lot of gas banked, so he'll be getting Templars in a little bit. It's definitely an inevitability that that tech will come. But I guess he just wants to power up with some Zealots, with some Corsairs. And you're really getting to see a lot of the ideas of this build. We see the air weapons upgrade is coming in here as well. I guess once he sees the mutas with the Zealot Scout, that's the next fork in the tech tree he wants to go for.
Hydra's starting to pop out here now for Queen, getting a decent amount, has a sunk in there at that third base. I like the SimCity he has there as well. You definitely can wall off against those melee units reasonably well at the third here, even though it is very wide open. And Mini just kind of roaming the map right now. Looks like he's trying to clear some of these Zerglings that are up front. He's patrolling back and forth with these Corsairs as well, but I'm not, like... Does he need to move more quickly, or is this just kind of zoning play good?
I think this is fine what Mini's doing. I mean, he's continuing to pump Corsairs out here, and he's basically making a pretty strong fighting force of Zealots and Corsairs, and anything that's stray, whether it be Overlords or Mutas, are going to get beaten up. And, you know, there's enough Zealots. They're strong enough. Keep in mind that +1 attack upgrade came pretty fast. Armor's just around the corner, no doubt. It's a pretty good fighting force. And we see with how low Mini's gas is that he definitely has a ton of Templars that are going to come out basically just in the nick of time for Mini to not die to Hydralisks.
Yeah, he's obviously going to need a little bit of time to get those Psystorms up on the energy. They do pop out with, less than enough for a Storm, but Hydra's starting to come down. He is zoning them back with these Zealots running back and forth. He did get a DT out, by the way, but we do already have Overlord speed researched for Queen.
Okay, now, are there actually enough cannons here? 2 seems very, very light for what you would need to actually hold off this number of Hydras, but maybe Mini's timing is just clean enough that he knows he's basically safe with 2 cannons.
Well, I think that's really where he's excelling when you look at it, Tastosis, right? Like, you look at these builds, and he always gets everything just in the nick of time. Everything, like, dodges Overlords by half of a second. So, yeah, I think he probably timed this out. He knows when these Hydras will get here and cross spawns on Largo.
And now he's got the Templars coming out. Doesn't seem like Queen wants to even try to snipe a Templar. I think it's a drone kill over there with that DT, which is pretty important. There's a whole mini-game going on the 9 o'clock position with the DT trying to just snipe any drones that come through. It looks like finally this drone will be escorted over there for the 4th base to be set up here. And now we've got Zealots fighting over here, but where are the Corsairs?
Yeah, the Corsairs were actually over to the side. I think they killed an Overlord or something. High Templars have not been brought up as of yet. Looks like he is getting Dragoon range now, I think. I believe +1 is done for those Corsairs already.
Yeah, that should be Dragoon range. You're totally correct about that, Artosis. And now, Mini with just great control comes through here and is taking this fight. The Zealots and the DT doing a great amount of damage up here. I do think there might be just enough Hydras out here that there's not a whole lot these Zealots can do. He's got to send those back to meet up with the Templars.
Yeah, seems a little bit rough there. Okay, the Corsairs flying away to the side, everything coming down. But I mean, he's saved up actually so many Psystorms at this point. I don't think that Queen can attack him.
I think you're probably right about that, and I love the 4 Zealots, or actually even more than that. They're going to be sent around here to try to attack. The Hydras want to try to put pressure in over here. Now, there's not really any Zealots over here for the time being, but the Zealots can just come up here and basically hit this base on the corner, and Mini's definitely got the right idea when it comes to zoning.
My God, he actually kept those 3 High Templars in the front and just Psystormed the hell out of the Hydras that tried to snipe them. So very well done here once again from Mini. Already has that 3rd upgrade on the way. Whether it's +2 attack or +2 armor is yet to be seen. but staying active with the Corsairs throughout. His Zealot force hits that 4th base. No units there whatsoever. Some are coming down, but I don't think enough to save it.
Yeah, and really, he's done a great job in every sense of trying to deny these bases. Now, did he get a little bit too greedy trying to trade off his units? I don't think so, man. I mean, he's going to come in here. He's going to kill off the hatchery like we just saw. He's going to be able to take out these drones. And,
yeah,
I mean, this is really impressive stuff. The Zealots were picked off, yes, but really Protoss has everything that Protoss needs right now. I mean, we're looking at 4 or 5 Templars, Dragoons, Zealots, a healthy number of Corsairs so that Mutalisks, if they are still around anywhere, they can't snipe the Templars with ease.
Wow, I gotta say, it's been such a crazy game to see out of Mini here, but Queen's macro is really finding its stride right now. He has Hydro Lurker, he's coming across the map, and he's only like 8 supply behind Mini. That makes me a little bit scared, actually, for our Protoss Pro.
But Mini keeps killing Overlords over and over and over, and it is just, it's a headache to deal with here. Queen's funds are starting to really spike up here. The Hydras are going to come in here. Some nice targeting on these Templars. Each Templar only getting 1 storm off, even though there were 2 in the bank. And honestly, I think with those Templar snipes, I think this game's basically over. I think Queen, you know, he just has too much. And I think there were too many Zealots thrown away there by Mini. I think Mini could have done with 6 or 4 attacking that hatchery, but sending a dozen over there was probably too much. And so game 2 should be going to Queen.
Yeah, securing that kill is fantastic, but if you can't hold on, it's not enough. You can see Mini very, very frustrated from that loss. And now we're tied up 1-1. All right, we have ourselves a series here.
I think had Mini not had those Templars sniped so easily, we would be in a different game. But, I mean, Queen, he goes for the jugular. He saw that, dove in, took the Templars out, and from there, you're never going to get out of your base.
Well, especially on a map like this, right, where you have that ramp right over the 3rd base, that can be a really difficult position because the Zerg is attacking in, and you don't really have that much room where you're going to be hitting all of your shots and still shooting. So definitely a bit problematic there after throwing those 12 Zealots at the 4th base. But, I mean, if he doesn't kill that 4th base, isn't Queen ahead in that regard?
For sure, yeah.
Tough game.
So it's a tough one for sure. So we're tied up 1-1, guys. We've got plenty more of the series to come, but Queen able to once again fight back in a more standard setting against Mini.
Yeah, and I mean, showing his great macro when he's not thrown off hugely in the early game, which I think he wasn't here, right? He basically got to do his build as he wanted to, but you can really see that macro kicking in. The amount of Hydras he fielded so quickly across the map, just a bit too much for Mini. So back to the drawing board. We'll be going into Game 3 here momentarily.
Yeah, guys, sit tight. We're going to take a short commercial break, and then coming up, we're going to see who's going to take the lead right now. As Queen and Mini are tied up 1-1 in what is turning out to be a very advanced PvZ series overall for the evening.
Yeah.
Are we going to go to a commercial, Tastosis? We're going to keep doing these shots?
I don't know, Tastosis. I simply do not know. Maybe we're just going to go into the next game.
Okay.
All right.
You guys are getting the live feels here, man. Normally they go to a commercial after each game, but apparently not. Production change.
This is a piggyback broadcast, so
that's right.
It should be expected. All right, I guess we're going to do it, man. Let's go. Going into Revolver for set 3.
Yeah, now what's Mini going to try to do here? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think Revolver is, well, we're just going to hop into the game. Guys, we're going to find out. I don't have to speculate anymore. As our game is ready, Mini versus Queen continues on here. A fight to get to the ASL Finals.
All right, so we have Queen in the bottom left. And up in the top right, we have Mini. So cross spawns here once again. You were mentioning that those eggs do allow you for a wall in, but you know you can wall in with a couple buildings, right, on the wide side of the eggs, but you still have that ramp you have to block.
That's correct. There is a degree of complexity around that entrance that is hard to deal. Oh, dude.
It's a 5 pool.
Okay, well, this kind of leads into what I was going to say anyways, which is that, you know, it's not a very easy wall if the Zerg really wants to take a fight to you. And so, let's see if this is a fast expand for Protoss or if it's in the main. Okay, it's going to be a fast expand. Now,
right.
Just to put this out there, you know, if you make gates 1 or 2 in your main, you basically hold off a rush like this and win the game. So, a bit of a roll of the dice here from Queen. The next step on both sides we want to watch for, we switch to the Protoss in this case and look, is it Forge or is it Gateway?
Forge, if I'm not mistaken, Forge is better against this, right? Because then you just make a cannon in your main base when you scout it?
Well, you can do that. It's not ideal. Then you kind of go into a normal game. You can go Gateway, but you need to get a battery up. You basically have to keep the Zealot alive, and it's going to be Forge first. Okay, this is going to be a fun one to watch because Mini's going to see this in time.
Yeah, he's going to be coming up, but there's actually a drone waiting, so he may try to just block this, which, gets to glide through onto that geyser, so a nice move there from Mini. And he's going to be able to get up here and see that it's a 5 pool. So let's see if he goes, I think he's going to go pylon main, but maybe he can get a cannon up quickly enough.
Yeah, let's see what he wants to do back at home. The probe's been killed.
Makes a Nexus. I'm like, what?
Makes a Nexus and wins, and I'm like, well, I don't understand anything about this game anymore. No. So the idea is that the Protoss abandons the Forge at the natural. He has more probes, and he just gets a cannon up here, and it goes into a one-base play. And the Protoss is still, I believe, technically ahead here. But I think Zerg should become... And this is not a new concept, by the way. This is actually an old way that games used to look. And it's happening now in 2021, where you're able to... Oh, hold on. He needs to protect the cannon. Dude.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. He's going to lose the cannon. I can't believe this.
Oh, no. Well, he is surrounding the Zerglings, but yeah, losing that cannon, this is like the one thing you really do need.
Dude, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So
I can't either.
Normally, the cannon is made to the right of the Nexus, but the problem is you can't cover the second gateway from that position. So he puts it over here. It's kind of out of a ideal cannon spot. But honestly, I mean, this is really bad now. Because when there's no cannons up, there's no anchor of defense here for the Zerg, or for the Protoss, I mean. And so the Lings, they're not speedlings, but, you know, Queen's going to have no problem still outmaneuvering the Zealot with slowlings. Now, the game's not done. I think I might have called it a little bit too soon there. But it's not ideal either. But Mini seems to have kind of a cool idea at play here, which is he might just try to make cannons at his natural and just try to kind of hurry back down and expand.
Hey, he throws down a pylon there, a secondary pylon, but really it's the Forge that these Lings are going after. They try to engage on this Zealot, going after it pretty hard here. Some great micro from Mini. Ends up killing that probe. The second Zealot came down to fight, but now there's 4 Zealots out. And, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how many drones Queen has. He has made some from here, but... yeah, I wonder what's going to happen here. Like, is he going to be able to kill enough probes to get ahead economically?
I mean, positionally right now, as long as the Zerg has this many Lings, or, you know, maybe a little bit more, he's in a better spot than the Protoss. But, you know, with the Ling number getting any lower, he can just start to send his Zealots across for a counterattack. But this is still pretty doable. Keep in mind that Queen did not target down the Forge, which is usually what happens. Usually Zergs will stay back and not try to kill the cannon, because usually they can't get in there and kill it. Instead, they try to kill the Forge as quick as possible and limit the number of cannons and basically play a control game. But because Queen made this choice, he sort of let that the infrastructure remain on the low ground, and now Mini's retaking it. So we had what was like a sequence on both sides we've seen many times before until the Forge wasn't attacked. And now we're in a pretty obtuse game.
Yeah, this is looking very weird. I love, by the way, that Mini throws down the Nexus instead of a cannon or anything. He's going to start putting this counter pressure on. He made those 2 gateways for a reason, knowing he can continue to kind of punish this economy. There is a Sunken about to finish, but that is 5 Zealots. And they're afraid of it. Never mind.
And, you know, he has to back up now. Queen may go into layer tech. Oh, he is going to go into layer tech. And then he may go for Mutalisks. But that can be a little bit dicey as well. But, you know, I think Queen had a major advantage here, and he's kind of lost a bit of control of this game. It doesn't mean that Zerg is going to lose, but this has become uncomfortable on both sides. Now, as long as Mini can confirm that there's no third base being taken, and there's not from the Zerg, he should try to blind counter mute attack.
Okay. Okay. But here's, like, is Queen going to have to turtle up a little bit more here? Because the Zealot count continues to grow. Look at this. He's just going to walk in here with 7 Zealots. The drones try to drill over. He walks away from them. The Sunken has already gotten a single Zealot kill basically for free.
He's going to basically just stay behind these minerals. Can he actually come through here? That's funny. He can. I wasn't sure, actually.
What am I looking at? There's a ton of Zerglings, by the way, headed towards Mini's base right now.
Yeah. And I think he should be safe back at home. He's got enough Zealots to block this off. He's going for the Starport. I think the Spire's maybe halfway done. What a scrappy game this has become, by the way.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. The Speedlings, are they Speedlings now? I believe so.
I think they just became Speedlings.
They're up here kind of ready to fight. He has to keep a bunch of them at home, but that, I mean, the Spire is going to be finishing pretty soon. Yeah, it's finished, and now he's starting to pop out mutas. So, I mean, that's going to force the Zealots that are behind his mineral line out of there.
Yeah, I think the Zealots are not of the greatest importance right now. Like, I mean, he can basically lose them. He just wants to watch what's happening here. He'll see the eggs hatching with the mutas. He sees it now. But the Zerg still has to basically make a big win with this. And I don't know that it's going to happen. There's more cannons coming. There's a second Corsair on the way. Mini's burst out again with these Zealots here to basically try to take any fight that he can take. And I think with this many Zealots, he could kill the Sunken Colony. And the Lings are going to have to come back. The mutas are going to come across. But it does seem like on every front, Mini is going to win these little engages.
Yeah, it seems that way. He has these cannons being made. Double Stargate is being made by Mini, so he's going to really counter those mutas super, super hard at this point. Drones trying to drill away from these Zealots. He will be able to clean them between the Lings, drones, and mutas.
So there is a set of Scourge inside this clump of mutas, but he's going to see what's up here. And he's really beating this up pretty badly. I mean, the mutas are basically being hard countered. The 2 Dragoons come out here to basically ensure that there is no way to win a small micro fight. And now there's been drones killed, man. And behind that, Mini is still making probes.
What are you supposed to even do here? He's going double Hydralisk Den.
Oh my god, I thought one of those was a hatchery. I'm so glad you pointed that out.
Well, double Hydralisk Den, like, his drone count is so low. Does he need speed and range that badly? Like, together at the same time? Is this a mistake?
I think it could be a mistake. It doesn't seem right. Two dens doesn't seem to add up, right?
There are builds where you do stuff like that, but I do not think this is one of them.
Not in games like this. I don't think so. That doesn't seem right unless there's just some, you know, something we all don't know collectively as people that like StarCraft, is that there's some kind of a new... Because, you know, like, what's the point, right? Are you going to get range and speed?
I guess so. Yeah, well, that would be the one thing that...
Or Lurker, you know, Lurkers, for maybe speed.
Well, I don't
and
think you need, like, Lurker and speed or something.
Well, the Hydras would get across the map more quickly to make the eggs over there, maybe. I don't know, man. Don't get too Hydra dense, guys. Just don't do it.
Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home,
Well, don't try this game at home for sure, because this game has been absolutely rabid on both sides. Oh my god, this Mutalisk fleet coming in. Oh, it's going to get completely wrecked by the Corsairs. The Corsairs just going to town right now.
These Mutas are going to be driven into the cannons in the corner of the top right part of the map. Good control here, but I mean, Mini's basically getting the kill every step of the way. And again, there's no third hatchery, there's no third base. There's just not enough going on here. Now, these Zealots don't have speed, so let's watch carefully here, because sometimes speed Hydras, if they kill the cannons, they can kind of just win the game. You know, they're extremely strong.
Yeah.
But the counterplay here with Mini basically diving onto the Overlords is impressive.
Well, looks like everything comes down to this moment. Queen is trying to bust. He's getting majorly supply blocked. So this is what you see is what you get. And it doesn't feel like he has enough to break through here. More cannons are about to warp in. And he still has some units left. The probes continue to come out to fight.
Yeah, and there's now almost as many cannons as there is Hydralisks. And the Corsairs can basically fan out and start to look for any stray Overlords. I mean, we know there's 2 over here. He might even want to try to dive bomb these and get the kills there.
Especially if he has a DT about to pop out. That would just about end the game as well. Right now, Mini at twice the supply of Queen. We're 11 minutes, 30 seconds in, and we don't have 100 supply between the two.
Yeah, this is pretty wild. I think we're going to have one last hurrah here from Queen, where he's going to try to break this open, and I think it's not going to work, and he's going to leave the game, because this position, it might look like it's been a back and forth, but actually Protoss has set up everything that they need to power into a bunch of gates and a third base. And back home for the Zerg, there are, I want to say, probably under 20 drones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not very many at all. Now, he has slipped a DT out. I believe, yeah, he kept one here at home. A Robo is coming up. He sees those Lurker Eggs, of course, and as the Overlords die, the DT can come out and play.
Yeah, and now this one DT is going to start damaging these Hydralisks over here. Trying to fire in his own.
I love it!
I love it. That was sick. So he targeted his own Hydra there to get that.
Yeah, he targeted Hydras with that many Lurkers and got the DT with the splash. So amazingly done.
Hold on.
He's running past the cannons!
Wait. What is he?
He burrows one in cannon range.
How is that not in cannon range? All right, Queen leaves regardless.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
If that was a siege tank, it would be getting hit. But there you have it. Mini ends up winning against the 5 pool. What a crazy game that was.
I mean, I can't believe it, dude. That's wild to me. I mean, he lost the cannon. First of all, Queen even 5-pooled, which is wild. But yeah, then he lost the cannon. Then he's like, I'll just try to fight really hard with my Zealots. And you know what? I'm going to expand again. And you know what? You're not being thorough enough with your decision-making, Queen. And so now I get my second base back up. Played a very tight game with Corsair harass. Good Zealot pressure. Kind of funny what he was able to do with those Zealots and sort of force a position. And he won. And now it's going to be Mini up 2-1. And I'll tell you, man, Queen is really having to do a lot of work to make these games even look close.
Yeah. I can't believe what the series is looking at. Like, the games are so different from each other as well. These two really giving it to each other right now. We're going to be going into Polypoid for set 4. Queen definitely needs a comeback win. We'll see if he can do it after this quick commercial break.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 뭐야?
새로운 날을 만든다.
나의 레벨은 다르다. 어너더 레벨 핫6.
울트라 기어로 선명하게 이긴다. LG 울트라 기어 게이밍 모니터.
자, 행갱의 고민 상담소 포장마차를 제가 하나 차렸습니다. 엔잡러 시대니까 나도 직업 하나가 더 있어야 될 것 같아서 포장마차를 하나 차려봤습니다. 일단
너무 비싼 거 아니야? 아니 돈 떼도 벌겠어.
자, 일단 다음 기술. 내 시즌 연속.
이
싸움에서요. 잡아내요. 제공권도 잡혀요. 김명훈 선수 승을 따내면서 이번 시즌 4강의 주인공이 됩니다. 김명훈 진출.
이제 뭐 명훈이가 4강에 안 올라오면 좀
맞아,
이상하다는 느낌이
맞아,
들
맞아.
정도로 4시즌 연속이면 진짜 기록은 기록이다.
4번밖에 안 한 건데? 아직 할 게 많아가지고.
딱 겸손할 때가 딱 한 번 있어. 경기 전에도 안 겸손하고 경기 끝나고도 안 겸손한데 경기 끝나고 직후에 인터뷰할 때만 겸손해.
어떻게 하다 보니까 이번에도 4연속으로 4강에 오르게 됐는데 근데 그거는 솔직히 더 하고 싶은데 끝나고 나서 그 패자가 있잖아. 그 패자에 대한 예의가 좀 아닌 것 같아가지고 오늘도 진짜 놀리고 싶어 죽겠는데 민철이 표정이 어둡더라고.
마침표를 찍게 만들면서 4강으로 올라가는 김명훈 선수네요.
네, 이제 돌아가자. 토픽으로 돌아가서 오늘은 진짜 내가 명훈이의 모든 고민을 한번 들어주고 해결까지는 못 해주겠지만 방향을 좀 제시해줄 수 있는지에 대한 좀 토크를 심도 있게 해보려고 해. 명훈이 요즘 고민이 뭐야?
나 요즘 고민 서울로 이사를 오고 나서 여자친구랑 술을 되게 자주 먹어. 야식 먹으면서. 그러다 보니까 살이 좀 많이 쪄가지고 건강상의 문제도 있고 살이 10kg가 넘게 쪘어요. 그래가지고 이게 좀 고민이 되더라고.
근데 살이 이제 김명훈의 체중을 X축으로 놓고 김명훈의 커리어를 Y축으로 놔. 찌면 찔수록 커리어가 높아지는 느낌이야. 그럼 계속 쪄야 되는 거 아니야?
100kg 찍어볼까?
근데 이제 살이 찌면서 받는 스트레스가 있다면 얘기가 달라져. 거울을 보면 조금 예전에 비해 좀 자신이 없어. 자신 있어? 뭐가 그렇게 자신 있어?
난 여자친구한테도 맨날 나 잘생기지 않았냐 막 이러면서 그러려면은 나 자신부터 그렇게 속여놔야 돼서 나도 속는 중. 내가 잘생겼다고 생각하고
그럼
있어.
살이 쪄서 문제가 뭐야?
땀이 많이 나고 걸을 때도 막 좀 땀이 나. 그게 좀 힘들지.
빼고 싶은 거야?
이게 또 빼려면은 야식을 포기해야 되잖아. 이거 어떻게 포기해 이거를. 근데 형경이 너는 그 살이 안 찌잖아.
그렇지.
관리를 하는 거야?
관리하지.
어떻게?
그냥 약간 습관화가 되어 있어. 좀 무겁게 먹은 날을 다음 날에는 좀 약간 클린하게 먹고 한 1kg 내외에서 움직이지 않으려고 이렇게 좀 관리를 하는 편이야.
와 대단하네. 나 그게 안 돼가지고 좀 떨어지면은 운동 좀 해볼까 하는데 떨어지질 않아요 또.
그러니까.
아니 시즌 중에는 운동하기가 힘들어서 떨어지면 해야 되는데 4강 가버리면 만약에 4강에서 저도 3, 4회전까지 해요. 그럼 쉬지를 못해요.
솔직히 3, 4회전 간다고 생각 안 하잖아. 그래. 겸손한 척 하지 마.
아니 내가 걱정되는 게 또 있어. 요즘에 저그가 안 그래도 강세여가지고 김명훈이 잘해서라기보다 저그를 하는 종족이 너무 좋다. 사기다. 이런 말이 또 있어요. 그게 또 고민이긴 해.
저그가 맞네.
저그가 지금 너무 좋아서 약간 그 종족에 대한
그렇지.
인정을 받는 느낌.
나 말고도 너무 잘하는 저그들이 많아가지고 그래서 더 그런 것 같기도 하고.
그럼 명훈이보다 더 잘하는 저그는 누구야? 근데 요즘 진짜 뭐 컨트롤도 너무 좋고 멀티태스킹도 너무 좋고 진짜 막 게임이 진짜 잘 된다라는 느낌을 나뿐만 아니라 많은 분들이 명훈이한테 느끼고 있는 것 같아.
요즘뿐만이 아니지.
그러니까
좀 됐죠.
괜한 얘기를.
오늘 이 그 인터뷰할 때 앉았던 의자가 조지명식 때 그 시드 아닌 선수들 앉는 의자더라고. 와 이거 오랜만에 앉아봤잖아. 매번 시드 받아가지고 언제 앉았는지도 모르겠어.
그 긴 바의자에 앉아본 기억이 너무 가물가물해.
기억도 안 나.
지금 명훈이가 나한테 얘기한 거는 저그가 너무 좋다는 얘기가 나와서 명성이 좀 가려지는 게 좀 고민이다.
사실 그것도 큰 고민은 아닌데 또 우승할 거라서 고민을 좀 해보는 정도지.
요만큼 칭찬받을 거?
맞아.
요만큼 칭찬받는 느낌이 조금 아쉬울 뿐 뭐 그게 그렇게
난 칭찬을 이만큼 받고 싶은데 조금밖에 안 해줘가지고 또 매번 우승하고 4강 가고 하다 보니까 사람들이 4강 가도 만족을 못해요. 팬분들이.
명훈이 또 실력이 이렇게 뒷받침 되니까 이렇게 자신감 있는 모습을 보여서 사람들이 좋아해 주는 것 같아. 어떤 기록을 이번 시즌에 만들어낼지 내가 이렇게 지켜볼게.
그래.
고민이라고 해봤자 약간은 시덥지 않은 고민을 가지고 있는 최고의 기세를 자랑하는 저그 4강로 김명훈 선수와 함께 이야기 나눠봤습니다. 안녕.
We're back and we're ready to go into the next game. This has been an insane night, by the way. I mean, we're talking about some pretty wild PVZs. Queen going for the 5 pull. We know that's something that can always be coming in a large series, in a best of 5 or a best of 7. But he got into the position he needed to be and then still lost the game.
Yeah, I think Mini, even though the cannon was placed in such a way it was maybe harder to defend, he did get 2 gates up, and he did get that counter pressure going. And, he got a cannon up the natural and everything. The Forge never got killed. Yeah, I mean, it got out of hand for Queen. Mini just seems more prepared for this series.
He seems more comfortable in the matchup overall. He really seems to know when Zerg is weak, why, how, and then what the next play is. Like, I really admire the double Stargate immediately to just hard counter the mutas, to make that such a headache. And then even when the Hydra switch came, it didn't matter, because by then all the Overlords are gone.
Yeah.
We're going to go on to Polypoid now, one of our maps we've seen many times before. Let's find out what kind of game Mini and Queen are going to make on it.
In the bottom right, we have Queen. And the top left, we have Mini. Okay, I gotta point this out.
Yeah.
Every game has been cross-spawn.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. I thought, man, again, okay.
That has to be rough for Queen, right? Because suddenly, like, 3-hatch Hydra busts are a lot weaker.
Well, I suppose that's true, Tastosis, but I do think it's not necessarily bad for the Zerg to be far away from the Protoss. I think, especially on this map, you can turtle up and take a lot of bases and, try to play a macro game.
So,
Polypoid is a map that, especially in this matchup, once somebody has a base, it's very hard for the other side to take it. And it's true for both the races. Protoss gets any expansion, basically. It's going to be on the high ground. There's not going to be a lot of room to get up there, or it's at a natural. Again, all are defendable. So, if you
until
have
Dark Swarm, asterisk until Dark Swarm.
Sure, and yeah, well, you say that, but then if you get a Reaver there, I think the Dark Swarm still isn't that good, right?
Sure.
So let's see what happens. I mean, you don't have to play a long game ever in a game of StarCraft, but this is a map where the more games we have on it, the more it just seems like it's a pretty turtley map. Very hard to... In fact, a lot of games are lost by just trying to force a fight somewhere else. And this time, he's going to go back into that Forge Expand build. Mini's been doing this a lot lately.
Yeah, and which is so interesting because he was, like, very averse to it in previous seasons, right? Like, he was so much about those gateway expands, but he's mixing in a lot more of the Forges now. And comes over here like he's going to cannon rush. I don't think he actually is because the other probe already turned around to go home.
I think he could have cannon rushed here.
That.
He might still do it. I think he wants to get that kill, but...
He definitely wants to get that kill. I don't think Queen's going to let him, though.
And, yeah, there's no way he can do the cannon rush now. It's too far away. And so Mini's going to go for, I guess, Nexus or Cannon Nexus or Nexus Cannon, one of the two.
Dude, drones are so good at these moving shots.
Oh, it's crazy,
I actually
man.
think drones are better at it than probes.
Oh, they are, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. The probe can moving shot, but I think the drone moving shot's easier, if that makes sense. More easily.
It feels like it slides better with its moving shots. I'm not entirely sure.
Maybe I think it's not that it slides better. I think it's that it turns better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I get the feel, personally, from playing and from watching that, like, you just can't get away from a drone. You can get away from a probe occasionally.
Right. By the way, Mini being Mini again, went for a gateway and has not made a cannon. And I don't think there's a probe now over it. I mean, to make anything. Look at this. He's insane, dude. It's like, I can't believe. So he went gateway gas and then made a cannon, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Why would he... Tasteless. Yeah. What are you playing BGH, making cannons? What are you doing? No, you gotta tech up first, man.
I mean,
those cannons are for later on.
It's so crazy to me that he does this.
Yeah.
And look, I know that the finer points of a lot of build orders can be lost, whether it's StarCraft 2 or StarCraft 1. To the uninitiated, it might just kind of all look the same. But, like, it's a pretty big deal, man. It's pretty huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely. Every little piece, like anything you can skip for any amount of time is a great optimization, because that's what the game is down to at this point. I mean, the game is like 22 years old or something, or 23 years old. And at this point, like, these are the revolutions, is getting everything seconds quicker. And, you know, things, or seconds later, in other words, right? Like, you get to tech up quicker or get your units quicker because you're getting other things later, such as the cannons.
And I
think
it's wild. I think the Hydra Den was actually, possibly, I could be wrong, but a reaction to seeing the gateways already down. Like, there's already a Citadel of Adun coming here. I think he's trying to basically take a fight as quick as he can.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like he's going 3-hatch Hydra, right? Is that still going to be strong so far away?
I mean, the Hydras are pretty quick, Artosis. It's always better if you're closer, but you can make a 3-hatch Hydra rush work if you get in there quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's almost not about how fast the Hydras get there, more so than when does the Protoss confirm that there's Hydras coming. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you need to have started the cannons. It's not like you're going to, you know, here's a way to think about it, because I think you're talking about this from like a Terran perspective, like you're gonna have siege mode in time to hold this or something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make the cannons, right? I mean, that's kind of Mini's whole shtick, is he just doesn't make the cannons. But a lot of builds are designed so that you can kind of check right before the Hydras get there and throw them down. Mm-hmm. So we need to see, you know, when does he actually confirm the Hydras are coming? You can see the Corsair basically goes down a scouting path to run into Hydras. And so now we got to see, all right, so he shows it, and now we got to see, can Mini get cannons up in time to basically fend this off?
Oh, this looks really scary. And he actually got the Citadel super, super, super fast, but hasn't made +1, so I'm a little bit confused as well to what that was. Like, was he trying to rush up to High Templars here? Or Dark Templars? Either way, it feels like it's going to be too late.
I think that Mini has this kind of alternative approach where he goes for Speed Zealots and Corsairs really fast, and doesn't. And if there's a Hydra bust that comes, he just gives up the Forge and makes it somewhere else and gets the upgrades later, I think.
Okay. Well, he is going to lose that Forge, it looks like, but I think he's made just enough cannons that he'll be all right for now. He is making another Forge in that main base, as you mentioned. Has a second gateway in his natural. That is a lot of Hydras. As this goes down, well, he just goes forward immediately here, and he powers down 2 of the cannons. The third cannon falls as well.
Yeah, Mini needs to remake these cannons very quickly here.
Is he going to hold on to this? Like, the micro of these Hydras is going to be so hard to play against, but the speed on the Zealots already really helping out.
The Zealot speed's very important, right? Because one of the issues with slow Zealots is that the Hydras can basically kite them, and the connects will never come. But I think Queen is so close to basically breaking this open. Queen targeting down these cannons does not force a cancel, but Mini cancels regardless. It makes the cannon slightly further back, 1 hex further back.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if he gets the 5 cannons up, I think he's basically okay. There's more Hydras inbound here, but I think that Mini just barely navigates this tightrope walk correctly. He just has to get some more gateways of his own set up here so he can start manufacturing an army.
Yeah, he is starting that in his main base. The Corsair is still flying around, getting some scouting done. More hatcheries have been coming up, as well as the Evolution Chamber here for Queen. So it seems like Queen is going to be able to transition out pretty cleanly. Is Mini going to be able to do the same?
Mini's okay.
He cancels a cannon.
Yeah.
He's a legend, man. I love it.
Mini is okay, I think.
Yeah.
You know, he did hold that off. He did have to actually throw his Zealots into the fight in order to keep those cannons up. But, you know, upgrades are going to be petering along here inside of Mini's main. Getting that Forge upgrade, getting Storm, no doubt. And, you know, back over here for Queen, it's kind of the same story. He's going to get that layered tech. He's going to try to, you know, get Overlord speed, probably get a Spire, and try to power up. And so things have cooled down a little bit here on both sides.
I have a quick question for you, Tastosis.
Yeah.
This is kind of just like an observation because I watch a lot of PVZs. Obviously, don't play too many, but because the Forge upgrade is really, really late here, and we're past the moment in the early game where you have Zerglings, and normally Zerglings don't rejoin the Zerg army until a little bit later, like Hive Tech-ish. They start coming back out again. Would it make sense to get +1 armor here before +1 attack for Mini?
I think it could make sense, and I think we're going to have to wait and see what he wants to do. But armor is trending a lot more in this matchup in general. By the way, there's enough Hydras out here. He may try to get some snipes on these Templars. Maybe even go for these cannons. You know, a lot of these Templars don't actually have Storm energy just yet.
He eats the one Storm, which does a pretty darn good job. Throws another Storm down. That was a great dodge, though. Makes an Archon here. More High Templars are continuing to pop out. And throws another Storm down. It actually does as much damage as Zealots as it does to Hydras, but the cannon's doing plenty of damage here. And although I like the move from Queen, I think Mini has countered it pretty well.
Yeah, Mini is hanging on fine. He's waiting for his moment to basically explode out on the map. It looks like he has almost all 8 of his gateways up. He went for the double Forge approach. He did go for +1 instead of armor. We now know that.
Yep, and I mean, I figured he would, but it kind of, I'm like, well, that +1 does the best against Zerglings, right? So, anyways, a lot more High Templars popping out here. That 4th base is up, so Mini, I think he needs to run across and make something happen right now.
Well, Mini's push is going to come here. He definitely has the right idea by targeting this 4th base, and I don't know that Queen is actually quite ready for this in this moment. I like how he branched off some Zealots to target this down. Now, keep in mind, he could probably get a kill on this and then run out. But he has to make the right decision here, and instead he decides to try to fight those Hydras, only to then realize he does not have anywhere near enough to take this fight. And this goes back to that idea we were talking about earlier on, that, you know, these bases on Polypoid, all of them are kind of turtly.
Yeah, it's really hard to really break bases in these situations, right? You're attacking up into high ground against Lurker Hydra, and for Protoss, that is, like, every time I see a Protoss try to do it, they die. Unless they're so far ahead.
Oh, it's really hard to pull off. Now, he does have the shuttle. I don't normally see this in cross spawn, so this is kind of cool. But I guess it makes sense in a way, because he noticed that there was no Mutatech because it was Hydra's speed. He could probably drop DTs over here into the main, assuming that's a DT. Maybe it's Zealots. It is one DT. But Queen is ready. Queen is so ready.
Yeah, I definitely knew that was coming. He did hit the 3rd base at the same time and comes over. Oh, he just barely misses the Storm. That is some great dodging. He still gets some drone kills, but I would say that this was almost a perfect defense from Queen.
I agree. I mean, Queen basically was ready for Mini to throw everything at him. And I'll tell you what, a lot of Zergs die right there. That was the DT drop, Storm drop, everything was out.
And an attack.
And an
Straight up an attack on the 3rd.
2 different locations, a Zealot thrown in there to harass. Like, he's really trying to tax Queen's ability to keep up. And Queen basically survived it. Now, it's going to be a very late 3rd base here. I think Mini's, you can see he's already kind of regretting not making more headway here. Yeah. He's going to expand later. But here's the problem for the Protoss. Zerg is going to be able to get that 3 o'clock expansion almost 100%. And it's just going to be hard for Mini to find any fight that he'll want to take. I mean, low ground to high ground fights in Brood War are so punishing that it kind of makes your head hurt, you know, to try to figure out where else you want to hit, you know?
No, absolutely. This is looking really difficult for Mini, because this is the point of the game as well where Queen starts to really find a stride with macro, and the Hydra Lurker, I mean, he's so good at just pumping it out. Look at his supply already. He's only 30 behind Mini. Like a 135 supply army from Zerg, that is really strong.
And Mini is going to try to go ahead and take 12 o'clock. Keep in mind, there's a lot of counterattack spots here for the Zerg on this map, but I think Queen might not even go for it. He might just try to play a very defensive game and try to turtle up. Oh, okay. Mini's ready for the interception here. This is very impressive.
Ooh. Yeah, moves right back up. Counters these Hydras very, very quickly. Love to see it. And coming down to try to bust through the Lurkers now. He has a ton of Dragoons, but there are some Circlings coming in. Psystorm's going down. Hydra's coming from that third base area as well, and he is starting to break through the Lurkers a bit.
Yeah, the problem is this area is so narrow. But he is going to keep pushing here. There's still even 3 observers up here. And you can see he basically waited for the rest of the Hydras to come in. He's going to send the Zealots down here. I mean, maybe Mini can actually break this wide open. I don't know, man.
No, he does have a lot of Zealots. Those Lurkers come up for a beautiful burrow, but he storms them down so quickly, pulling the Zealots to the left there. Another beautiful Psystorm, and he is starting to really shred through this army.
I can't believe he's actually making this push work. Mini is a god. Now, Mini is just now spending all of his money back over there at his natural. You almost never see a push work like this. There's something to the fact that he forks off all those Zealots away until it's time for the Zealots to absolutely take a fight. He's kind of opened up this area. He's going to try to regroup. There are more reinforcements coming down. I thought that might be a Lurker drop. I guess it's not.
No, I guess not yet. Trying to make some more Lurkers here at home to continue to hold on. We do have a big upgrade advantage for Mini. He is taking that 12 o'clock base.
You know, when you kill off the initial line of Lurkers and then there's second Lurkers that are from the other bases come up. Okay, hold on. 2 storms on an egg and you can kill this. Oh my god, the Lurkers hatch in the nick of time.
But still pretty clumped up, so it looks like he will storm them down as well.
Dude,
and I think he's broken the back here of Queen. What a victory.
I cannot believe that he actually broke that open. That is unreal. And even Mini, you see him taking that deep breath.
Yeah.
He knew he had to force a fight. He broke his army up very nicely. And I'll tell you what, Mini's making Queen look like Queen just doesn't have a very good handle on the matchup. Mini is just so dominant.
Which is crazy because when we see Queen play other Protosses, we wonder if the matchup's broken, right? It's like, oh god, how could anyone ever beat that? But then Mini comes in and does this. Dude, that was even Mini, we had Mini's like standard head shake when he had to retreat to his third base that he was warping in. Like, we could see his disappointment, his frustration that the game wasn't going his way. He's a very emotional player. And despite that, he just continued to macro up, came out, and crushed Queen's face.
I don't think Mini's going to be stopped, man. That game alone, I think, should say it all. Because that was a position that normally in PvZ, the Zergs are not broken in, right? But Mini just knew. He completely deflected the counterattack, took another base, and then pushed. And right when it seemed like maybe there's going to be enough Lurkers to hold it, Mini gets 2 perfect storms off, breaks that line of defense, doesn't overextend, regroups, and then pushes in again. And Queen was toppled. And now Mini just needs one more game like any of the 3 wins he's already had, all extremely different wins, by the way, and he will move on to the finals.
Crazy to think. At this point, I'm kind of feeling like he is the favorite of the tournament. These games are just unbelievably out of control from him. Between game 1 and that game that we just watched, I haven't been this impressed by a Protoss player since like Bisu emerged, you know?
I mean, he is making this matchup look like Zergs never win it. And we know that's not true, but it's a crazy thing,
we
right?
know that's not true.
It's like, look at all the ways that you could just kill these Zergs outright.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like there's Hydras. As his Corsair gets in front of his natural, Hydras start attacking. He's like, I guess I need a second cannon.
Yeah.
It's like, what am I watching? And then he wins the game after he can't do anything against the 4 bases of Queen. There's mass Lurkers. He's like, nah, it's fine. I made 20 goons. It's fine.
Can't believe this. We're going to Ascension for the next map. This does have some different requirements as far as openings go. And I don't think it's necessarily a very easy map, PvZ, but I don't know what to expect. Now, Queen, by the way, kind of grimacing over here. He knows he needs to really pull this around because one more mistake, and he is out of the ASL, and Mini will move on to the finals. Let's see if Mini closes this out or if Queen starts the comeback.
So we have Queen there in that 12 o'clock spawn. And the bottom right, we have Mini.
And real quick, guys, before this game picks up, we just want to thank everybody who supported us on Patreon. And now let you guys know, those of you who support us on Patreon, get access to the top secret Tastosis podcast, where you hear our uncensored banter, where we talk about all sorts of stuff, StarCraft related and not StarCraft related. It's been a lot of fun to make, and those of you guys who've already been supporting us on Patreon are loving it. And so don't miss out, man. Everybody else is having fun. You can too. Just join us.
Everyone else is having fun, guys. Better get in
Are
on
you
that
having
before
fun,
it's all
though?
gone. We've got that FOMO going on.
Get the FOMO going.
Yeah, it's been so wonderful, Tasteless. I get to cast ASL. I get to talk to you. Thank you, everyone, for supporting.
It's mostly a flat earther podcast, if you guys were wondering. It's basically like, here's what it's like, is Artosis comes on, and he just says, the earth is flat, Tasteless, and I go, you're right. I know. And it's
basically that the whole time.
It's the whole time, yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't have
It's
any
also
guests
hollow.
on.
Did you know that?
It's
also
flat and
hollow.
hollow.
It's like one of those cakes with 3 levels, okay?
It's flat, hollow, and a hologram. Figure that out.
Oh, my. All right, so we have a pool first here from Queen. Mini, Nexus first.
Dude.
Well, he's just got the timings down, right? That's the only thing it can be, is he knows exactly how quickly the Zerglings get there.
But let's talk about this. I mean, let's compare Mini to Snow for a minute here, because Snow is sort of the other new age Protoss that wows us. Mini seems to have fine-tuned these builds on a way that Snow just doesn't in the matchup. Like, Snow plays very much so a more straight-up approach, right? You know, Gateway into, you know, Nexus and Forge, or... and we've seen Snow do some cool corner-cutting builds, but this is just, like, on another level.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. See, I think that this actual build was Reigns, right? Like 11 Nexus, 11 Forge, and that worked against certain pool first builds.
I think you're right, actually, now that you say that.
Yeah, but I'm sure he has his own fine-tuned things in here. Now, the probe coming out, just kind of checking. That third hatch going down at the natural. His Wallen being made. Tasis, what do you think about Ascension in this matchup, by the way? Because, like, I've casted a lot of games on it, and it feels like they all go to late game and Protoss loses.
It does seem like that from what we've seen. Yeah. I feel like this map, as a player, I don't think I have a very good handle on it. I think the geography is pretty challenging. I think in all the matchups, you know. But it does seem like there is a way for... What was your question initially? I'm sorry, I kind of...
Well, like Ascension in general for the matchup. Because it's just like the games that I've seen from PvZ here are all like, they get really big, but then Zerg just like grinds Protoss down eventually.
It does seem like that, yeah. I think it's doable for Protoss to get 4 bases, and with 4 bases, anything is possible, you know? But I do think Zerg has an easier time taking the other mains and kind of trying to run the game down that way. But I think there's still a lot of time for this map to be understood and learned here, you know?
Yeah, it's still a newer map. I mean, it's been around for a little bit, and we're definitely learning a lot about it, the way to move around, how to expand, and everything like that. Second gas coming up. No Forge spinning as of yet. I was pretty interested in that build last game where he, like... Because some of these games, right, he's starting +1 attack, like, right after Cybernetics Core, and some of them, like the last one, he skipped for a really long time. Here, he starts it just after Stargate. There's just such a breadth of differences on that.
A question, by the way. In the last game, he went Citadel and then Stargate, or was it just the order that our observer showed it to us? Do you know?
Oh, last game? I can't recall. There was a game with Citadel before Stargate, but
okay. Well, I'm sorry to put you on the spot. I was just wondering. It seems like we're gonna have Stargate again here, and you know, Mini again with these kind of corner cutting builds is just sort of.
It's kind of funny, Tastosis, right? Because like I'm watching these games, and as I see things happen, I can kind of like figure out a lot of the time why and what's going on. But at the same time, it's kind of like looking at hieroglyphs, where like I don't read hieroglyphs. Like maybe I really like hieroglyphs, but I don't read them. Like this is not a Terran build order, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not. If it was a Terran game, and you're like, did he go Academy or Armory first? I'm like, well, I remember every single game and which one that was because it means more to me, you know.
I like the way that you stated that, like you don't read hieroglyphs, like just to put the disclaimer out there in case people don't get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, second Stargate.
Oh. Okay.
Wow.
Well, Queen has been liking going mutas after the Scourge.
Yeah, and you know the delayed second Stargate can set up nicely. It basically allows you to power on Corsair Zealot. You know, you have 2 gases, and the gas is being dumped into Corsairs, but your Zealot presence better be a real threat because otherwise Hydras are just going to kill you. They're going to kill your Zealots, and then they're going to kill your base.
And we did see already the Hydralisk Den go down in the main base, so he doesn't know the timing of that. That's for sure. Yeah, I wonder if Queen can come back with that.
Queen is kind of falling into the Protoss' trap here by going Mutalisks. Now, there's no way he could know it's double Stargate, but you know, with Mutas out on the map, I mean, these Corsairs, they want to fight Mutalisks.
Well, they are coming back right now. Speed done for the Zealots as they try to retreat. Scourge chasing down those Corsairs, but of course they can get out of there in time. Going to see a suspiciously large amount of Corsairs as his Scourge follows them in.
I think he's in on the secret now.
Yeah, he might be. Or is he? He's going to start to come in with these mutas. That won't end well.
Well, you got to be careful because the Corsairs can just moving shot your own mutas, and like this. Now, Queen has proven time and time again to be very effective at doing this, but I don't know, man. I mean, this is a lot of kills on this, and Protoss can continue to just lash out from here on out.
Well, he definitely has that air domination now. That's a fact. And you can see, yeah, that was a bit of a frowny face right there as the speedlots come out. He does not have that much. He's made a lot of mutas here. Some more Hydras start to filter out.
Okay, these I don't know, man. I mean, I think the Zealots may be fended off here, but the Corsairs are going to start just dominating Overlords. And once you start to kill off these Overlords, you're going to supply block them. And that's, you know, when the supply block starts like it has now, that's when it's scary because Protoss is not making Zealots right now. So every Hydra that's killed off cannot be remade. Another supply block comes in here. Oh my god, the Hydra counterattack is insane.
Oh my god, yeah. But does he have like maybe a DT on the way that could help him deal with that? I'm not so sure.
I would imagine
I don't believe there's an Overlord in the area right now.
I don't see a DT. Does he have a Templar Archives? Am I crazy?
I don't know. Well, he might not because he went for the double Stargate, right? But now a Speed Overlord comes on, so it does not even matter if that's the case.
Thing is that the Zerg is still blocked. It's at 53, or 52 and 53. Now it's blocked again. Oh, this is insane, man. I think that Mini is just barely in the lead because I think Queen has basically caused enough of a diversion, but I think the truth is that Queen is hurting more right now. Oh my god, and if he gets this hatchery, it's so bad.
Ooh. And the Corsairs, by the way, just dived on the Overlord that was near him as his DTs are popping out, so another win there for Mini.
Oh, I gotta try this.
He's gonna be able to push these Hydras back.
This is so cool. And here's Mini once again, making it look like these poor Zergs could never figure out how to stop Protoss. It's really something.
really feel bad for Zerg players.
Yeah, look at these poor Zergs. You know their overlords can be killed by the Corsairs. You guys see that, right?
That's crazy.
It's certainly unfair. I mean, they should at least be able to land on the ground and become depots. Okay, so he's going to... Oh, dude, this counterattack. You got to be careful, man. If there's one Overlord in here... Oh, and there is...
Yeah, mass DTs coming out right now. The Corsairs across the map. Oh, no Overlords there as 2 DTs going to the main base. Dude, DT's absolutely everywhere right now. There's only a couple of Overlords on the map right now.
I think drones are being killed now. And even though Queen has a threat outside the base, he hasn't really damaged any infrastructure. So I think the few units that are macroed out here by Mini can kind of just slowly shoo this away. And there's still a fire that needs to be put out inside of Queen's main.
Yeah, looks like the few Zealots will end up cleaning that up. Oh, the DT's going after these drones on gas. Queen, I think, at the end of his rope right now. GG is called.
God.
And Mini in the finals once again. Another 4-1 against Queen.
Zergs do not know how to stop this guy.
Oh my God.
He just kills Zergs. I mean, look
Unreal.
at Queen. This is Queen, dude. This is the guy who... Obviously, ASL champion, looked untouchable, looked like he may be potentially the next Bonjour, and Mini just breaking his neck in every game in a different way.
Yeah, it's wild. The diversity, the spread of styles and builds and strategies.
The range of play is what blows me away the most. I mean, he basically did every type of style to win here. He won with a classic push, which you don't normally see PVZs end with. He did it with 2-gate. He did it with the corner cutting fast expands. He did it with holding off a 5-pool into 2-gate, into reclaiming his natural. He did this double Stargate play into Speed Zealot, into DT. I mean, this guy, is there anything he can't do?
Well, winning ASL yet. He's been to 2 finals already. This is going to be his 3rd. I tell you, I'm actually kind of rooting for him. This guy really deserves to be a champion at this point.
He just has such a handle on the matchup, and you could see his decision-making is so on point, and his build orders are so much more optimized, even this season more so than the last season. Think about that. He just knows every ebb and flow of the matchup, and you can see someone like Queen is just kind of getting jerked around in the game.
Yeah, honestly, his planning is so good. This reminds me of the very best planning I've ever seen, right? Like, players like, you know, I'm thinking back to maybe some effort series that we saw that were unbelievably planned, some Flash series. You know, there's very, very few players that can come in, play every single style, bend when they need to, dictate the game as much as this, and just execute like Mini has. It's unreal. This guy is just he really is the best Protoss in the world by far.
He is on a level that I think we just haven't really seen, and even when Rain was that dominant, it didn't look like the way that Mini's playing. The way that Mini plays looks unstoppable.
Yeah, maybe Reigns PvP, but the other matchups, no.
We're going to go to that interview now, guys. Enjoy.
선수 잡고 결승전 올라가게 됐거든요. 자, 결승전 오른 소감 말씀해 주시죠.
일단은 다시 제가 결승전에 갈 거라고 생각을 못 했었는데 16강부터 좀 많이 잘 풀렸던 것 같아요.
네. 오늘 경기 내에서 지금 상대를 보면서 맞춰나가는 유연한 플레이가 일품이었거든요. 오늘 쉽지 않은 상대를 만나서 경기 펼쳤는데 오늘 승리를 따냈습니다. 지난 시즌에 이 준우승 굉장히 좀 아쉬웠죠. 어떠셨어요?
그쵸. 아쉬움이 너무 많이 남아가지고 이제 결승 끝나고도 계속 좀 생각이 많이 나더라고요. 그래가지고 이제 이번 시즌은 꼭 우승을 한번 해야 될 것 같아요.
네, 지금 분위기가 좀 너무 좋지 않습니까? 오늘 뭐 경기 내에서도 긴장하는 모습 없었고 안정적으로 경기를 펼쳤고 자신감도 좀 생겼고. 자, 그러면 유영진 선수와 조일장 선수의 지금 반대편에 대결이 좀 기다리고 있는 상황인데, 아니 김명훈 선수까지 잡아낸 변현재 선수 입장에서는 오히려 뭐 조일장 선수 오는 게 더 낫지 않아요?
일단은 제가 오프라인에서는 아직 그 테란전을 엄청 잘하지를 못하겠더라고요. 저그전은 엄청 많이 해가지고 그래도 어느 정도 노하우가 생기는데 테란전은 이제 아직 오프라인에서 확실히 잘 보여줄지를 모르겠어요.
오.
그럼 만약에 상대가 유영진 선수가 된다라면은 예, 결승전 스코어 어떻게 생각하면 되겠습니까?
그러니까 개인적으로 이제 유영진 선수를 더 만나고 싶지만 이제 영진이 형한테 이길 확률이 좀 더 높다고 생각은 하는데 이제 결승에서 제가 좀 잘 될지가 모르겠어요.
네. 그러면은 뭐 유영진 선수보다 조일장 선수를 만나는 게 변현재 선수 입장에서는 더욱더 우승에 좀 가까워지는 길이네요.
그러니까 그건 아닌데 이제 제가
오.
정구 전에 이제 대회에서 항상 좀 어느 정도는 보여줬기 때문에 이제 일장 형이랑 해도 좀 좋은 승부를 할 수 있지 않을까 싶어요.
네. 그러면은 그 냉철하게 봤을 때 유영진 그리고 조일장 둘의 대결은 누가 이길 것 같아?
근데 일장 형이 8강에서 테란전을 너무 잘하더라고요.
그렇죠.
그래서 조일장이 이길 거라고 예상은 하고 있어요.
야, 그래요. 자, 지금 지난 시즌과 이번 시즌 결승전 연거푸 올라오면서 이제는 좀 우승을 좀 해야 되겠다. 여기서 우승 못하고 만약에 한 번 더 틀어지게 되면은 연속 준준되면 이게 2번이 3번 되고 3번이 4번 되고 많이 된 사람은 6번까지 되거든요.
네.
네, 그 징크스에 좀 빠질 수 있습니다. 그럼 벗어날 수가 없어요. 제가 아는 선수 중에 그런 선수들이 있거든요.
그렇죠. 우승을 한 번을 해야지 이제 다음부터도 계속 우승할 것 같은데
네.
준우승을 너무 하다 보니 좀
네.
그런 것 같아요. 시작부터 이제 우승으로 이제 단추를 깼더라면 이제 계속 잘 풀어 나갈 수 있지 않았나 싶은데 이제라도 우승을 하고 계속
네.
잘 풀어 나가야 될 것 같아요.
지금 준우승은 좀 3번 지금 확정이죠.
네.
네, 조건 상황에서 여기서 3번이 되냐 아니면 지금 우승이 되냐 해서 이제 길이 좀 달라지게 되는 상황인데 그럼 이번 결승전 어떻게 준비하시겠습니까? 어떤 각오로?
일단은 제가 이번 시즌 맵으로 결승까지 올 거라고 생각을 못했는데 이제 제가 게임하면서도 좀 잘 풀리고 운도 좀 좋다라고 생각을 했거든요 항상. 그래가지고 이번 결승은 꼭 우승을 할 수 있도록 이제 좀 준비를 잘해야 될 것 같아요.
네, 그렇죠. 그러면은 또 팬분들에게 응원해주신 팬분들에게도 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
일단은 좀 걱정하시는 팬분들이 많았는데 이제 명훈이 형전도 다시 이기기는 힘들 거라고 생각하시는 분들도 많았는데 일단 4강에서 잘 풀렸고 결승에서도 이제 잘 풀리는 모습 보여드리겠습니다. 그리고
네.
연습 도와준 박상현 선수랑 조일장 선수 그리고 이제 전 시즌 우승자 홍구가 도와줬거든요. 그리고 이제 제가 대회 준비하면서 처음 봤는데 김윤환 선수가 먼저 연습을 도와준다라고 하더라고요. 네. 그런 사람 처음 봐가지고
네.
이제 제가 경기장에서 이제 좀 경기하기 전에 손을 푼 적이 처음이거든요. 이제 대회 맵으로 이제 손을 푼 적이 처음이라 가지고 좀 생각보다 도움이 많이 됐고 조언한 것도 좀 한번 느꼈거든요. 어떤 빌드에 대해서. 그래서 이제 좀 도움이 됐던 것 같고 결승에서도 좋은 모습 보여드리겠습니다.
네, 다시 한번 축하드리고 결승전 멋진 경기 기대하겠습니다. 축하드려요.
네, 감사합니다.
네, 자 이렇게
All right, guys. So there you have it. Mini is a finalist once again, 2 seasons in a row. Just amazingly done. Another 4-1 against Queen. It's unreal because Queen dominates everyone else, and then Mini just slaps him down 2 seasons in a row.
And Mini eats his lunch. I mean, Mini was the only Protoss to get to the final 8, and here he is in the finals. I mean, the other pros can't figure out Protoss. They don't play anywhere near the way that Mini does.
No.
And he's overcoming all odds.
He truly is a completely different level. I mean, as much as I love Snow and Best, Mini is so much better, especially at this matchup. It's just, he has every mind game. His mapping out of his strategies is superior. His decision-making is top tier.
Yeah, and I think if he can just start to win finals, man, and I mean, I think especially PvT, if he can really figure that matchup out the way he understands PvZ, because PvP is not a problem for him either, Artosis.
Yeah, no, he's done quite well in that matchup, no doubt about that. I don't put him anywhere near Rain's level, where like Rain could get the worst build order in the world and still win, but like he's good enough to beat everyone that's active right now, right? So that's what it takes, and Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. I think that this is someone that's probably going to end up winning a lot of championships, but he's going to have to get through one of these guys first. We have Rush versus Hero coming up next. A Terran versus Zerg for the ages. Hero looks completely, utterly unstoppable Zerg versus Terran. Probably it's some of the best Zerg versus Terran I've literally ever seen.
The question is how will he do if he wins here and has to do a ZVP? And with Rush, I think Rush is good, and he's got a very cool modern style. We're definitely having a whole season of the most modern approach players coming out on top, but is he going to be ready for whatever dirty stuff Mini's going to be cooking up, man?
Yeah, I have no idea about that one. But yeah, this should be a fantastic match coming up. Obviously Hero has played a lot of Zerg vs. Terrans lately, not just in ASL, but in other show matches and tournaments. So Rush is going to have a lot to study, but I don't know if he's going to be able to bring it because it just seems like Hero's style is untouchable. Like he adds in enough mind games and enough aggression, but macro's like a beast, and he's really in his old form where he got second place in ASL before.
Yeah, this has been, I think, a really special season. Like, we've had so many good games, so many interesting stories, and I don't know, man. Let's get to these finals, man. I want to actually just record this next best of 7 as quickly as possible.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, I want it to occur. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching us and supporting on Patreon. That's patreon.com/ASL English. Anything else from you, Tasteless?
That's it. We'll see you guys in a couple days. Take care. We love you. Stay safe. Bye-bye.